who tried to be more MAGA than me. None busted 25% because my constituents prefer transparency and principles over blind allegiance.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the Capitol. There will also be House hearings today into DOGE and its attempt to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from federal government spending the day after a federal judge ruled that DOGE challengers can likely make freedom of information requests to get info on what DOGE is doing, writing the agency has unprecedented authority and unusual secrecy. Elon Musk, who's been leading DOGE's efforts, tells Fox Business they're being transparent.
When we get criticism, we say, like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like, which cost saving do you disagree with? And then people usually can't think of any.
There's a new U.S. attempt to stop Russia's war in Ukraine. In Saudi Arabia, last month they met with Russian officials there. Now it's Ukraine's turn.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz are meeting with a Ukrainian delegation today. A senior State Department official says the fact that the Ukrainians are willing to sit down signals they are serious about reaching a ceasefire deal.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Ukraine hit Russia overnight with a drone barrage. 3 people were killed. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's just a test. It's 51 degrees in downtown Indianapolis, a clear day, and it's a high of 71. I'm Ryan Hedrick for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:02. A statewide tornado drill will happen at 10:15 this morning. Joe Neild at the National Weather Service says it's a drill for everyone's safety.
This is a time for us at the Weather Service, for our partners in media, and for everybody out there to take a second to think about what they would do if a tornado was approaching.
Neild says if a tornado strikes and you're in its path, it's simple. Take cover. Severe Weather Preparedness Week, which this drill is a part of in Indiana, runs through Saturday. 2 kids were hurt in a drive-by shooting late last night on Indy's west side in a neighborhood not far from West 10th Street and Timberwood Drive. The kids who were shot are alive, and the cops are looking for whoever did this. A woman pled guilty to reckless homicide after she killed 2 people in 2 different crashes in Indy. Here's Jake McDaniel.
Kelly Anderson was accused of killing Dr. Brian Dillman and Kiana Burns in 2022. In May that year, Anderson crashed into Dillman as he was just walking on a sidewalk near 49th Street and Meridian Street. Anderson was also involved in a crash with 8 other cars the very next month, which killed Burns as she crashed into her. Burns died from her injuries. Anderson pled guilty for what she did Monday, and her hearing is set in April. Prosecutors say Anderson's license will be suspended for 6 years as well. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers could use a win. They're back at home tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks, but last night in Chicago, they lost 121-103 without their star, Tyrese Halliburton, sidelined for the 3rd straight game with the hip injury.
Our starters were struggling. They were struggling with chemistry. They were struggling with shot selection. They were struggling defensively. I can't speak to their exact mindset.
And we're not sure if Halliburton is going to play tonight. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. At 9:04, traffic. Here's Matt Bear.
Yeah, right on the northwest side, it is a stall on northbound 465 after 71st in the right lane, causing slow traffic. And then a crash cleared Fawn Creek Parkway, Keystone Avenue. North split is slow, northbound 6570 Michigan Street down to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Fellas, if you're not feeling the same energy anymore, testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Look for personalized treatment like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center.
Low T Center brings over a decade of experience. LowTCenter.com. Book your appointment today.
Cold weather brings hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So get in on those hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Now, here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Lots of sunshine, very warm temperatures, a little breezy this afternoon. Today's high 71, partly cloudy skies, quiet and crisp overnight, a low down to 43. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Right now, you have 51 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. It's time for Kendall and Casey right here on 93 WIBC.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey.
Yeah, Rob.
These poor local government people.
They just need more money, don't they?
These poor local government people. There's never enough money. Kev, the news music is still playing, by the way, whatever you got to do with that. Because we got to talk about what's going on in Westfield, and I can't do it if there's two things playing at the same time.
Well, this is news. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 7 minutes after 9. Okay, so the city of Westfield, they want their $1.8 million back.
This is just the best article. Okay, so I'm laughing at this because now Westfield, to my recollection, did not. By the way, real quick, if you're watching us on the YouTube feed, they've just officially given up on that other camera.
Is that what's going on there?
The engineers, I guess, just said screw it because apparently, I don't know, the cable is too broke to rectify. It cannot be resuscitated. So they've just said screw it. They're giving up, and now there's just a wide shot of the. There's just a wide shot of the studio here.
I'm really curious. I haven't looked at the wide shot to see what it looks like, but I'm wondering if people can see like the TV that's leaning against the wall over here. Random 6 chairs here in the studio. They're doing nothing.
All right. So if you want to watch and see what they are, the entire studio actually looks like. You could see a wide shot of it. Just to put Kendall and Casey into your YouTube search browser, bar, whatever it is. All right. So I saw this article. Now, in fairness, I don't think Westfield sent anyone or came to any of these hearings, being one of the poor singing orphans that was talking about how the world's going to end if you get property tax relief. I want to disclose that. But it does put on display what this article we're about to talk about, just how much money these people have at their disposal to use on things that have nothing to do with running a city one day to the next. Because like the Mooresville guy gets up, the Mooresville superintendent is like, if people get property tax relief, we could be shutting off the lights in Mooresville. Or that idiot trustee who tried to claim we're going to, quote, lose 7 firemen. And then when they get pressed, they're like, yeah, I didn't mean we're going to fire them. I meant we were just going to, like, not be able to hire 7 more people. Or, it's always, what was it, life? They didn't think they use the term life-saving, but...
vital resources.
Vital resources at the library. Like the internet or books don't exist anywhere else. If there were to be some sort of property tax reform, the internet and books would just simply go away at your local public library. Point of all this is, so Indy Star has this article about the city of Westfield and how they had spent upwards. They've spent it, right? The money's already been spent.
Yeah.
Upwards of $2 million to try to get a special census done by the government.
Okay, a couple things here. So they voted in September, the Westfield City Council, they voted to allocate $1.8 million, and they gave this to the U.S. Census Bureau for this special census, which you mentioned, because they want to get an accurate population count in the Westfield area. Now, why do they want to get this accurate count? Well, it's smart to have that. But the one thing that they were hoping for was to help boost tax revenue.
That's right. So, okay. Now, let's clarify when we're talking about special census. Obviously, the census is done every 10 years and in growing communities. And actually, this was presented to me one time in a land far away, and we explored doing this because there may actually be validity to this in communities that are outpacing growth projections, thriving communities. There may be some financial merit to doing this because of the money that then is eligible, federal money, et cetera, and you may end up in the end, quote unquote, making money off of it, right? Obviously, that's not a good description to use, but it's the first one that popped off my head. Like, if you have all these federal dollars that could potentially flow in if you're being under accounted for in the census, then there may be some legitimacy to having a special census. I'm not laughing at this on the merit to say this is the worst idea that anyone's ever conceived. I'm laughing at this because now they can't get the census done, and they're out the money because they already gave it to the government to do the census. And because when Trump came in there, Trump's like, yeah, we're getting rid of a bunch of these like part-time people, whatever. And all these special census people were on that chopping block. Well, now they've been out almost $2 million since September. So let's see, that's September, October, November, December, January, February, March. We're into month 7. We're into month 7 that the city of Westfield could just sustain going, here's essentially $2 million.
Right.
They don't know when the census is going to get done, if at all, or when they're going to get their money back. And the thing I'm laughing about with this is these are the same types of governments. Again, I don't think Westfield came and spoke at the hearings on the property tax bill. But these are the same types of governments that are coming going, oh my gosh, if you get property tax reform, we're gonna whack police, or there's gonna be no firemen, or we're gonna be in one-room schoolhouses, or there'll be no snow plows or street lights.
We're gonna have to shut off the lights. Right. Okay, so this
But they had these governments have like $2 million just laying around that they can lose for 7 months for a census that may or may not happen now.
And they're still running. Last I heard, Westfield is still up and running.
That's right.
So President Trump's federal hiring freeze, which he enacted in January, is what is preventing the Census Bureau from hiring these temporary workers to conduct the census. So Westfield approved this back in September. They thought the census was going to happen in 25 at some point. So here we are, 2 months into Donald Trump's presidency, 2 months into the year, 3 months into the year, and now Westfield is questioning, okay, well, wait, is it going to be delayed? They haven't received any updates. They want to know if it's going to be rescheduled, or as the mayor of Westfield is saying, hey, we want our money back. They want a refund.
Yeah, but think about what a bad deal that is, where you're giving somebody almost $2 million without any sort of guarantee on when it's going to be done. Oh, and if it doesn't get done, here's when I get my money back. What sort of management is that, where you're just you've got so much money that you could just hand that over without any sort of guarantee on what? Casey, if you gave someone $1.8 million, wouldn't you think there'd be some sort of written agreement? This will be done by this day, and if not, here's your $1.8 million back.
Yeah.
But it does. And again, I'm not picking on Westfield because there may be some merit long-term to doing this. I'm not disputing that. But don't tell me you're concerned about vital services, because clearly Westfield has so much money that they can take $1.8 million. They can just give it. They essentially threw it into the ether, and we're like, well, maybe we'll get this done eventually. Don't know. Apparently it's not in writing because they're not able to go, here's when you promised it would be done. Now give us the money. Like apparently there is, and if it does exist, let me know. But even if it does exist, you had so much money that you can do this. Don't tell me that police or firemen or whatever are going to be on the chopping block if people get property tax reform.
So the mayor highlighted that the money could have been spent on other needs for the city, or at least invested to generate interest.
And yes, but again. And also, with the special census thing, there's no guarantee it's going to work in your favor. It's a real roll of the dice because you're banking on
$2 million gamble.
Well, right. You're banking on what the numbers are going to show you, but then getting equitable resources to match those numbers, it isn't an overnight thing anyway. Even if they got exactly what they thought they were going to get, it's not like the federal government just rolls up with a Brinks truck the next day, or the state government or other things you're eligible for. It's an overtime thing. So if that's the way you're investing your money, okay, but you don't get to say, just like the whole argument fell apart with the mayor of Carmel when it was utterly ridiculous when she tried to insinuate that fire or public safety could be, in danger. Nothing is going to happen if you get property tax reform other than these people are going to have to be more creative and more effective and more efficient. It's no different than when these referendums fail. When these school referendums fail, do the schools cease to exist? No, of course not. Nothing changes other than they have to be better. The government people have to be better at their job. So that gives us a reason to remind you, March the 17th, 1 p.m., the Indiana State House. We want to make this the biggest, largest, most amazing thing that's ever happened in the State House, this property tax reform rally. And by the way, we may have an announcement here soon of a very special guest that's going to be joining. I think we're zeroing in on being able to make that announcement of a special guest that's going to join us for the property tax reform rally.
All right. Well, hopefully you have that on the calendar and you plan on being there because we need you. This is for you, and you need to be involved. And again, that's Monday the 17th, 1 p.m. in the State House with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
As after the U.S. cut off military aid with Ukraine trying to end that war with Russia.
Hear the news.
To get down a framework for a peace agreement.
President Trump's put on whole tariffs he imposed on imports from Canada and Mexico.
On the level.
28,000 warnings were issued in January.
On the go.
Speed cameras along I-465. Check the mail. You might have gotten a warning.
Drivers were slowing down.
Cuts to essential jobs at the VA.
I'm not convinced that that's happening.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Winters are long here in the area, and if you're tired of seeing and feeling that winter weather coming in past your old windows like I was, you need Window Nation. Their high-quality, energy-efficient windows will get rid of those drafts to keep your costly heat inside, lower your monthly utility bills, and keep your home comfortable year-round. And they're affordable, too. Right now, get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. Plus, with 0 down and no payments or interest for 2 years, you could get new windows installed in 1 day and not pay anything until 2027.
Imagine what you could do with all that extra money in your pocket. Plus, they're guaranteed for life. Don't miss out on your chance to take advantage of the buy 2, get 2 for free promotion, and you don't pay anything until 2027. Schedule your fast free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
So I'm looking at X, and the lieutenant governor, his page just posted a clip of the Senate Challenge basketball game where he injured himself.
Oh, yes.
And coming up, Micah Beckwith will be joining us. We're going to have to ask him about his injury.
It's a very serious thing. I mean, he was trying to blow it off last week. He's having surgery tomorrow. By the way, I love State Affairs or something. That's like the lead story. Lieutenant governor to have surgery.
Right.
And they act like it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, is there
what's going on?
And then you're like, it's some outpatient surgery. He'll be fine. And we'll make sure he's going to be at the property tax rally.
Yeah, so we'll check in with
Monday.
him coming up in just a bit. But the good news is that X is back. It's on. Yesterday, Elon Musk revealed that the social media platform was targeted by a massive cyber attack. And he said that the IP addresses, they trace back to Ukraine.
There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Okay, so there were about 600 million active users who were affected by this.
I was affected.
Were you?
Were you affected?
I was affected.
Well, we're some of the millions who were affected.
I wrote an article yesterday and put it up on WIBC.com about Cyndi Lauper coming, and I tried to post it on X, and I could not.
It is fascinating because, so yesterday was, what do they call that? The legal tampering period for NFL free agency, where now you can't technically sign guys until Wednesday, but yesterday is the day where you can negotiate and come up with your deal. So that's a huge day for the NFL because you got all these big name guys that are going to different teams. It's a tons of earned media for the NFL. And so much of that emanates on Twitter, Adam Schefter and guys like that who break these stories. And Twitter was down, and it was sports talk radio, or the fan guys talking about it coming in. It was very as weird as it sounds, it was very disruptive for the National Football League because they couldn't announce a lot of these big name signings in real time, which is a huge event for them.
And isn't that interesting how much communication has changed? Because it happened often on and off while we were on the air, and you kept saying, is your X down? Mine is down. Right. And that's how we get our information now. It's not just, the TV or, it's right there in the palm of your hand.
Well, you and I have this conversation on the regular about these events, whether it's the State of the Union thing or whatever. Are you going to watch it? And I said, no, why would I watch it? Everything I'm going to need to see is going to show up on Twitter. I'll be able to see it in what would take an hour, I can see in 10 minutes. And plus you're watching it anyway. So I know. I just think everything goes there now, whether it's debates, especially in the political realm, whether it's debates or anything, it is now instantaneously available to you via the Twitter box. And isn't it interesting how Twitter has kind of won the war? I mean, there was obviously at one point MySpace and Facebook, and then Twitter came along, and there's Instagram. And not to dispute that people still use Instagram or Facebook, but in terms of the place that people go to for information, Twitter has definitely won that war as of today amongst the social media companies.
So it was a DDoS attack, and that floods a website.
A
DDoS. They say they put a lot of fake traffic in there to overwhelm it and crash it, and that's what prevents real users from accessing the site. Dark Storm Team is a hacker group, and they claim responsibility for the attack.
But they're usually associated. They came out of the Israel-Palestine thing. So that's kind of interesting that he says it came out of Ukraine.
Right.
Because you don't associate the Ukraine with being deeply, or people in the greater Ukrainian area to be deeply involved in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So who knows what actually happened? In many cases, they may not ever know. I do wonder with these cyber attacks or even it used to be full-blown terrorist attacks, where these groups would come out and make a claim like, we did it.
And it wasn't them at all.
Right.
They just want to take credit for it.
How do you get to disprove it? What are you going to do to them? See, we knew it was you guys. We're going to get you now. Like, what is X going to go over to the Ukraine? Is Twitter going to go over to the Ukraine and start rounding people up? I don't think so. Basically, they're allowed to get away with this.
Well, and Elon Musk has been very critical of Vladimir Zelensky as well. And so you got to wonder, he says, well, the IP addresses came from Ukraine, so it's, all verified. Is any of this verified? And even if it is, who's doing the verifying? Okay, so something that was all over X yesterday was that runner who? The girl who hit the other girl with the baton during that track meet.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of clips of that. So Aaliyah Everett was her name, and she struck Kayleen Tucker in the head with a baton. This was during a
Is that wrong?
4x200 relay race.
Should you not do that?
You should not do that.
I mean, look, if somebody's getting in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the great Bobby Heenan once said, professional wrestling manager and commentator extraordinaire, win it if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. And it's only cheating if you get caught. Those were the two things I took away from pro wrestling in the 1980s and 90s. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat, and it's only cheating if you get caught.
Well, she got caught.
That's true. That's the mistake she made.
There were cameras there. It was a Class 3 state indoor championship. It took place in Virginia.
Yeah.
And Everett, she says that it was an accident.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
Look, I'm not to make this a Zapruder film here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It seems like she did whack the lady with the baton.
Yeah. So the victim, she suffered a concussion and also a potential skull fracture when she was hit in the head with that baton.
You gotta love.
So it's the big debate.
You gotta
love. Did she mean it? Did she not mean it?
When some person is severely injured and you make it all about you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a strong flex. This person has been seriously injured. What'd you say? A skull fracture? Mm-hmm. Is that right? That seems like a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but the skull fracture seems like a big one. And for you to be turning it into it being about you rather than the person who has sustained the injury, whether it was intentional or not, you played a role in that. She seems to be more focused on herself than the person who was severely injured.
Yes. Okay, so Micah Beckwith is going to join us next, and we're going to find out about his ankle and what's going on there. It's 93 WIBC.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
Be there for one of the biggest games of the season.
Turner
pounds it down. See Miles Turner and the Pacers in action against two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks.
In the lane to the corner, Neesmith beat the shot clock, and the crowd tells you the result.
It's an Eastern Conference showdown with potential playoff implications when the Pacers host the Bucks Tuesday at 7. Don't miss out. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers-Bucks, Tuesday at 7.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to BathsReUs.com. 765-545-BATH.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
If you hear the sirens, don't panic. You've got a mostly sunny sky, and it's 48 degrees in the Circle City. 70 is the high today. I'm Sean Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:30. A statewide tornado drill going on at 10:15 this morning. That alert will be shared through most notification systems, including the statewide emergency alert system. Joe Neild with the National Weather Service says these kinds of drills are necessary.
This is a time for us at the Weather Service, for our partners in media, and for everybody out there to take a second to, think about, what they would do if a tornado was approaching.
This week is Severe Weather Preparedness Week. 2 teenagers were shot on the west side of Indianapolis Monday night, but they did survive.
Yeah, it's really important for us as parents to make sure we know where our kids are, hold them accountable, teach them good values and morals.
IMPD Captain Rob Ryder says this was a drive-by shooting, so they got a vehicle in mind they're looking for, along with suspects. NBA guard Steph Curry has been hired as an assistant general manager for his alma mater, Davidson College. Under new NCAA rules governing NIL, the Golden State Warriors point guard will become the first active player in major U.S. professional sports history to accept an additional job as an administrator for a college athletic program. And your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. So far, the Dow is down 59 points at 41,888. The S&P is down 3 points to 5,617. The NASDAQ is up 8 points, though, to 19,461. I'm Sean Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about, with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself.
Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
It's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard. With a qualifying plan, you can choose an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. No hassle, no gimmicks, just honest-to-goodness wireless price right. Dial pound 250, you say the keywords Pure Talk, claim your new iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk, which is America's wireless company. Visit puretalk.com for details.
What a day.
You're working too hard.
We're both working too hard, with even less to show for it.
What's this?
It's the bills for Tracy's procedure.
This is outrageous.
I know. And Mom just said her prescriptions went up again.
How can working people afford this?
These medical bills are crushing our finances, and these hospitals and insurance groups are making record profits.
You know, I read Indiana has the 9th highest healthcare costs in the nation, and prescription drug costs are out of control.
That's why I voted for Mike Braun. He has a plan to reform Indiana's broken healthcare system. Braun's plan calls for billing transparency, increased access, and lower costs for all Hoosiers.
I hear you. It's good to know help is on the way. Mike Braun's plan will offer real relief for our family budget.
Sign the petition for Braun's healthcare plan at HoosierHope.org. Join Mike Braun's fight for healthcare reform today. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
69, I was 21, and I called the road my own. I don't know when that road.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Alert, Casey.
What's that?
Alert.
What?
There is a major medical event taking place tomorrow in Indiana politics and government.
What is going on? Actually, I know. I shouldn't even ask you. I'm totally feeling what's going on, Rob? I actually know exactly what's going on. Our basketball star injured himself.
Yes, remember last week, Micah Beckwith, the lieutenant governor, was on our show, and he was like, yes, I had a slight injury during the House and Senate basketball game.
Uh-huh.
Well, now it's some sort of major rigmarole where he's going to end up having surgery tomorrow.
It's not a slight injury at all. Poor thing. I hope he's not in pain. Let's check in.
Why did you lie to us, Micah? Why did you deceive our audience about the severity of your basketball injury?
Well, I don't know if it was deception. I mean, I didn't feel like it was the end of the world. I could still kind of walk on it, and it was still kind of moving. And so, I kind of thought it was fine.
So what is it? What is the is it a torn Achilles? What did you do to yourself?
Yeah, they said I ruptured my Achilles tendon, or something like that. So that's, what's crazy? I stretched a ton before the game because my dad did the same thing when he was about my age and playing basketball as well. So I was like, okay, I don't want that to happen. And sure enough, but I didn't think it was torn until the next day. I was at lunch with the governor and the statewide. So Todd Rokita and Elise, Daniel, and Diego, we always get lunch every 2 weeks together.
Oh.
And so Todd Rokita said to me, because I was like, I don't think it's torn because I'm walking on it. He said, well, I was playing in the congressional basketball game when I was your age, and I thought I just hurt mine the same way, but it come to find out it was torn. So after I talked to Todd, I was kind of like, I should probably go get it looked at. And then I got it looked at. Sure enough, they're like, it's torn. So
who knew our attorney general could also diagnose things, Dr. Rokita? But my questions, Micah, are you in pain? And were you on offense or defense when this happened?
Well, I was going for a loose ball is the way I remember it. Again, it kind of,
That's the way you remember it. It was like a week ago. And what is this? Like the Kennedy assassination? Like what do you mean as you remember it?
Well, there was a grassy knoll and, I was jumping. And so, no, I was going for a loose ball. And I went to jump for it, and I felt like somebody stepped on the back of my foot. And so that's what I was a little shocked. I didn't know, someone was behind me. And then I kind of fell to the ground. And then when I got up, I was like I was stepping in a hole. So I was like, ooh, I knew I did something not good. So that was unfortunate, but it was a bummer. I was pumped. It's a fun game, but they go hard. I tell you what, we had Alex Burton, the representative from Evansville. He tore his Achilles that game as well. So there are two Achilles.
Wow.
Representative Wilburn broke her nose because Mike Gaskell, I think, elbowed her or something.
Oh.
Andy Zay, I think, dislocated his finger. I think I heard that. And then Senator Garton, I think, tweaked his hammy. So,
could they go that hard on giving us property tax relief? That would be amazing. They're like injuring themselves over a basketball game. Are you okay? Are you in pain? What's the status?
Well, I mean, it doesn't feel good, but I have a boot on right now, and so I'm able to move around fine. I guess, I can't put any weight on it for a couple weeks after the surgery, which is going to be super annoying. And so I have that coming up. But, yeah, I mean, I've certainly done things that have hurt more. It's not the end of the world. Like I can still function pretty well. It's just kind of a throbbing, just kind of annoyance.
Oh, I've thought that about you for years, a throbbing annoyance. So now you're gonna... Hey, okay, real quick, the serious thing, then we'll get to something else. You're going to still be at the property tax rally, right?
Oh, yeah. I might be drugged up, but boy, that'll just make it more entertaining, I feel like.
Okay. All right. Well,
prescription drugs.
That's what we're very concerned about, is making sure you're not going to miss the property tax. All right. So let's talk about that for a second, shall we? Micah Beckwith is our guest. So Thompson just drops this grenade on her. Jeff Thompson, who's the head of Ways and Means. And that, by the way, did you watch any of the Ways and Means hearing? Did you get to participate in any of that?
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't participate in it, but we had it on in our office. So we've been watching some of the important committee hearings from our office.
The lights are, I don't know if you know this, but now the lights could be going out in Mooresville schools. The firefighters at one of those townships, was that Lafayette or somewhere, they claimed that they were going to lose 7 firefighters, and then when they got pressed on it, they said, well, no, we just won't be able to hire 7.
They can't do open heart surgery in the libraries anymore.
These people, they are pathetic. Come on, Beck, let's say it. These people are pathetic. They're just ridiculous.
Well, I think they're fear-mongering everybody. I think that's sort of the play, right? And so everyone needs to kind of chill out and relax, because the school corporations, the superintendents association, the teachers union, they're all saying your kids won't be able to go to school if this property tax bill goes through, which is absolute nonsense. We fund the state budget, over half of the state budget, a $44 billion budget, funds education. So we've got $22 billion plus going to education in our schools. I don't know what they want. Like, do they want like all of it? I mean, how much is enough for these people? I mean, I feel like for $22 billion, we should be easily getting good public schools. But where's the money going? That's what I keep asking.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And by the way, rare moment there, Mouthy Matt Gentry and I had a little agreements on the social media the other day where he was pinning one of these people down. It was I think the Democrats posted something about this. And he's like, well, what's the number? What is the number per kid? Like, what is the total number? Give us the number so we know when you'll be happy. And, of course, they won't do that because they'll never be happy. No matter what the number is, they'll always demand, more money.
That's right. And you have some small counties that have 3 or 4 different school districts. So that's 3 or 4 different superintendents that are making over $200,000 a year. That's administration. That's all of the building upkeeps, everything like that. And so, we've just not spent our money well. And it's because we have the teachers union that only lobbies for teachers. They don't care about kids and parents. They just care about the teachers. That's why it's called the teachers union, not the students union. And so this is a problem. We've got to stand up to them and say, listen, we're going to let cooler heads prevail. We're not going to buy into this fear mongering. And I love that you pointed out that fire chief that was testifying from Lafayette, because that's what they do. They say, we're going to lose 7 firefighters. Oh, really? Like, you're going to have to fire them? Well, we just won't be able to hire them. Oh, so you're not losing anything. You're just not going to be able to continue to build government. And remember, teachers are government employees. Government schools, it's government. And anytime we build more government, we always have to be very careful that we don't get out over our skis.
All right, I would like for you to take a moment, since you're going to be kicking off. I mean, well, Hammer's going to kick it off because he's the MC, but I think you're the first guy up on the property tax rally. Just to speak to our audience for a moment about the importance of showing up, because we have said there are a lot of people in the State House that are rooting for this thing to fail. They want to be able to say, see, these people aren't that serious. They won't mobilize. Maybe if you could just take a moment to speak to the audience, since this will be our last segment with you before Monday's rally, about the importance of whatever you're doing Monday, make the rally at 1 o'clock at the State House a part of your day.
Great point. You have to show up. It's those who show up are the ones who win. And so if you don't show up, then the legislators will look and they'll say, oh, see, there's not too many people that really care about this. And what I found out the other day, for every one phone call or one person showing up, legislators typically equate about 1,000 people that are represented by that one person. Wow. So when you get 10 phone calls, that's about 10,000 people that are really going to be concerned with this one issue. So if we can get 1,000 people, 800, somewhere in there, I mean, that would be huge. That's huge. That would be fantastic. But even a couple hundred showing up, that's also going to say a lot. But the more the better. We got to show these legislators that there's another voice. I was talking to some legislators yesterday, and they were saying just that. They're like, man, we just hear from the local municipalities, the mayors and the school officials, and everyone is against it. And I said, well, you do realize that that's their job. They pay lobbyists to come down here and lobby for more money. The average working person can't get down to the State House. And they're like, yeah. And I said, man, on Monday, the 17th, we're going to have a rally where you're going to see a lot of people who represent the other side of the issue. And they're like, we can't wait. We're excited to see that. So we got to show up, and that's it's our government. We got to take ownership of it and do our part.
All right. Good luck on your surgery tomorrow. I told your wife I'd do whatever I could to help you. I think it's a largely exaggerated injury. I think it's a sympathy play. No. Remember in E.T. when the brother comes home, he's like, how you feeling, faker?
Yeah.
It was, hey, listen, you and Todd Rokita, it sounds like you both have a medical degree, so thank you both for your expertise.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, no, I was going to tell a Rokita joke, but no.
No, don't do that. We hope everything goes really smooth for you, Micah.
Hey, listen, I'm thankful that Todd said what he said because I'd probably still be like hobbling around on it thinking it's just a sprained ankle or something.
Being a tough guy.
So,
Our lawmakers used to
right.
duel with each other. This guy's injured in a basketball
Yeah,
game.
right?
Yeah.
Who won that game, by the way? Did the Senate win?
No, the Senate lost. Here's the deal. They had some good recruits this year. You had Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith was good. I mean, he's a former Colt.
That's
so
true.
The guy's athletic, right? And then you had Danny Lopez on the House, and he works for the Pacers. So, I mean, come on, that's not fair. And then you had Corey Griswold, who's a basketball coach over there in Rush County. And so, kind of like, oh, man, this is a little bit lopsided right now. So, but we'll get him in 2 years again. We do it every 2 years. Well, I'm gonna heal up and I'm gonna hit the gym. I'll be ready in 2 years.
All right, very good. We'll see you Monday. In the meantime, good luck with your surgery, and please keep us posted.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Vote now on our social media at Hammer and Nigel. Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. What song do you want to move on? We'll have a new matchup coming up this afternoon.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. When your garage floor has stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your whole garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job looks even worse. Look, spring will be here on March 20th. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio and installation this spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross concrete floor coating won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. In one day, we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross concrete floor in 6 stages, just in time for spring. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio, and installation by spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
As a female gun owner, finding the right store can make all the difference. At Premier Arms, they understand that your journey to self-protection is personal and empowering. So whether you're a seasoned shooter or just starting out, they're going to guide you with respect and understanding. And you can trust Premier Arms to take care of you without making you feel foolish or uninformed. I do. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. Consider Premier Arms. They're in Brownsburg, or you can find them online, premierarms.com. Their number, 317-858-3030.
When it comes to
finding great deals on suits, timing's everything. And now's the time, because Macy's semi-annual suit sale is here. Save 40 to 60% on new suits and blazers from Calvin Klein and Michael Kors, with performance suits starting at $99.99. And if you need advice on the perfect fit, Macy's free personal stylists are here at the store and ready to help. If you need a new suit, there's no time like the present, because the Macy's suit sale won't be back until the fall. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Rob, you know what the world needs now?
What, Casey? What does the world need right now?
Besides love, sweet love, how about another podcast?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Who now?
Michelle Obama.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
She's launching a podcast. It's called IMO with Michelle Obama.
It's called what?
IMO.
IMO?
IMO, in my opinion.
Oh, I got you. Very good.
With
Yes,
Michelle
thank
Obama
you.
and Craig Robinson, her brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the world, I mean, is the world clamoring for this? Is the world sitting down going, man, if only Michelle O were here to weigh in on pick your topic of the day?
Yeah.
I mean, I apparently somebody must believe that, because I assume she's not running a soup kitchen. I assume she's getting paid.
Wasn't she stepping away from politics?
I thought she wanted out of the spotlight.
Right, but now right back into it with a podcast. So they say that the show aims to create a space for honest conversations where people could ask questions, give opinions, and discuss life's big and small topics.
Isn't that every podcast? Isn't that the description of every podcast?
A lighthearted look at insert topic here. Okay, so isn't this interesting, though, because during the election season, we heard about all of the podcasts and how they were helping Trump, right?
Sure.
With Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, and the Democrats were clamoring, well, we don't have a podcast to do that for us. So is that potentially the reason why Michelle Obama and now Gavin Newsom have started their podcast?
Yeah, but I mean, think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about a person who, I mean, that was 20, not quite 20 years ago, but almost 20 years ago, that the Obamas were the thing, right? By Obama's second term, he had just become another president, and he beat Romney because Romney was a horrible candidate. If the Republicans had run anybody decent, they would have beat Obama. He was, in many ways, wildly unpopular. He had policies that were unpopular. He was just another guy by that point. So for the better part of 15 years, the Obamas, and I get that there's some sort of rock star status inside the Democrat Party, but I'm saying is for society as a collective, they're just kind of just another presidential couple. Once you cut through the media, I mean, the media still fawns over them, et cetera. But to the average person, and that's who you look at who the Democrats are talking about. That's where they're going back to. There's nothing new you're getting with Michelle Obama. There's no new insights or policy proposals. That thing ran its course. He was president for 8 years, and one of the reasons I think she has not gotten into politics on her own is I think that she knows that. I think she knows deep down that by the time Obama left to the public as a collective, he was just another guy, which is why people voted for Trump. Trump's election was in large part a referendum on the Obama years, and people went against that. And look at Obama's vice president becomes president. Again, Trump wins the presidency in large part on a referendum of Biden, which was a continuation of Obama. So I think that's a major problem for the Democrats, and we talked about this yesterday, that the Democrats don't have any up-and-comers that you look at and go, wow, that's the future of the party. That's the person that you look at the way they did Obama 20 years ago and say, I can see that person being the next great generational face of the party. They don't have that. It doesn't exist.
So Craig Robinson is the president of the National Association of Basketball Coaches, and he mentioned that the podcast is going to reflect the discussions that he and Michelle had when they were growing up, and they hope to spark new ideas and connections. So I'm wondering, is this a Democratic attempt to regroup? Is this a rebranding phase for them? Or is this just completely separate from anything political going on.
Well, she's 61 years old. The problem that like the Obamas have, it would be now, well, I guess theoretically the problem they have, but Biden's managed to avoid it, is it really cuts into the grift if you want to get into politics, or it should. Now, as we saw with Biden, clearly it don't. Why would you want to be president? Why would any person want to be president of the United States? It is a level of narcissism, and I say this on both sides of the aisle, in a country of 330 million people, to one, believe you can run it better than anyone else, and two, to want to deal with the continual headaches. You and I had this conversation yesterday. We are a 50-50 country. There is going to be no more Reagan Morning Again in America coalition building. We kind of saw it with Clinton as well. That's not going to exist anymore. We are an evenly divided country where 20% of the people in the middle who change their mind as often as they change their underwear are always going to decide who gets to be president. It's hate and vile from whatever side isn't in there towards the side that is. Why? Why would any successful person want to subject themselves to that?
Right. Open-mindedness has left. I'm really curious as to how long this podcast will last, because it's all fun in the first week or the second week, and then the third week and fourth week and fifth week.
They really need a Casey to do all the work for them, like I have here. They need a Casey.
And then you can have one every single day. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
When is the right time to file for Social Security? Well, that's a difficult decision today. You have to consider that Social Security is running out of money. You also need to consider the tax hit on your benefits and your IRA and 401k withdrawals. And finally, you should consider your spousal benefits. If you don't consider all these things, you could leave a lot of money on the table.
Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's going to show you how you could get the most income from Social Security with a free, customized Social Security analysis. So if you've saved more than $200,000, but you've not yet filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, my retirement guy. He should be your retirement guy. 317-648-5120.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
I'll say this. There are no entries in the Hoops Fan Hall of Fame who didn't show up to the game. Yes, you in the back.
Professor, March Madness is coming to Indianapolis. Are we ready?
You prepared to bring the fire? Give it 110 from tip to the final buzzer? Oh, you're ready. The NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th and 30th in Indianapolis. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVB tickets. Class dismissed.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Cold weather brings hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So get in on those hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what you'll be hearing soon and how it pertains to the weather. That story and more headed your way after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The selling continues on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Not as big as yesterday, but the Dow is down now almost 300 points. It's plunged more than 2,000 so far this month on concerns about the economy related to President Trump's tariffs on imports and inflation, something he'll talk to business leaders about later today. And Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
When you look at this big picture, President Trump has much, much better job security as somebody that never needs to run for re-election again than these CEOs have, because they have to answer to shareholders and to boards. And so later on today, coming for some reassurances, are the leaders of IBM and HP and Intel and Qualcomm.
Later today, the House plans to vote on a spending plan trying to prevent a government shutdown before a Friday deadline.
I don't think there's going to be a shutdown. I think we are going to get there.
Republican Congressman Scott Perry tells Fox Business.
It's the first time where we actually cutting and freezing spending in my time here. It is the beginning of dismantling this oversized government that is misspending taxpayer money.
Democrats oppose that. And there's a Republican who plans to vote no, thinking there's too much spending still. Thomas Massie. President Trump threatened on Truth Social to primary the Kentucky Republican out of office. Now, if there's one more GOP no vote today, the bill would not pass. How willing is Ukraine to make concessions to end the war with Russia? That's being discussed now at a meeting in Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio leading the U.S. delegation, talking to Ukrainian officials after similar talks last month with Russia. And before this round of negotiations, Ukraine launched a barrage of drones, hundreds of them into Russia.
Russian authorities say 74 drones bound for the capital Moscow were shot down, but the debris damaged 7 apartments in a residential building, causing injury and death.
Fox's Jonathan Savage, 3 people were killed. Pope Francis is doing better, still in Rome Hospital, but doctors now say the 88-year-old Pope is no longer in imminent danger of dying as he battles pneumonia. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's less than 15 minutes away. All clear on your radar. 53 degrees on Monument Circle, a partly cloudy sky. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A statewide tornado drill goes off at 10:15 this morning, which means you will hear alerts and sirens. Joe Neild with the National Weather Service says if you're in a tornado, remember this advice.
Get in, get down, and cover up. Get inside a sturdy building as close to the center as possible, away from windows, and at the lowest level you can get.
The Weather Service initiates the alert. Neild says you'll also want to watch out for severe weather that's possible this weekend. Gunfire on the west side of Indianapolis around 9:30 Monday night hit 2 kids. IMPD Captain Rob Ryder says here's what they know so far.
From what we know right now, the victims were inside the home when someone began firing into the home from the outside. Right now we have a vague just vehicle description, but we're not releasing that at this time.
Both kids are okay as they search for suspects, though. Ryder says it's a reminder that if you're a parent, you need to keep a close eye on your children. $2.86 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. If you've been keeping up with the sexual harassment investigation at the Indianapolis City County building, the council's spending some money on it. Chris Davis reports on 2 committees that are investigating.
And there's a handful of counselors on there, and what they did is they spent essentially $150,000.
City County Council Minority Leader Michael Paul Hart on WIBC's Hammer and Nigel show.
Hiring a law firm out of Atlanta to come and investigate the city of Indianapolis.
He says he believes the investigation will ultimately show what's already been admitted to, and that's basically what they're spending $150,000 on. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Pike branch of the Indianapolis Public Library on Zionsville Road will reopen Saturday, March 29th. The staff says they'll be showcasing exciting upgrades tailored to the community's needs. For the kids, they've got face painting, an animal show, and more. I'm John Herrick on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 10:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, Jack's Donuts could be in trouble.
Donuts. Cream-filled, jelly-filled, chocolate-iced, sprinkled, glazed, blueberry.
This is a fascinating article from WRTV about Jack's Donuts, which obviously has become... So for those of you who don't know, Jack's Donuts was a local donut shop in Newcastle. And...
got franchised.
Over the past 60 years, and really like on turbo under the past 10 years with Lee Markham, who I believe is the grandson of the original guy, have now 24 locations and 14 franchisees. And there's one downtown, and there's Broad Ripple and Carmel and Westfield, and I think Avon's got one, the other Brownsford's got one. They're all over the place, right? And WRTV has this long article about the financial troubles that have apparently hit Jack's Donuts to the point where there's numerous judgments now against Markham, Lee Markham, I think is the dude's name, and Jack's Donuts. And I'll tell you what, it is not looking good for several of these franchisees and Jack's Donuts as a collective.
Yeah, so the CEO, he's facing multiple lawsuits, and 6 of them were filed against him and businesses that are linked to Jack's Donuts. And courts in Indiana and New York handed down judgments totaling over $500,000 against him and his businesses. And now the franchisees are curious about the company's financial future.
So what this kind of seems like, and like I said, you can go read it, wait till noon. We don't care what you do during Tony Cats. You can go read this at noon, WRTV with the article. And I interviewed this guy years ago when I had my local show in Hendricks County because it was this feel-good story, right? Like this guy is running the donut shop that his family has owned and operated for all these years. He's sort of this young up-and-comer, and he takes this thing, this feel-good, wholesome local story, and he just puts it on steroids, and now the family name is living on through this donut shop. But what it kind of seems like, Jack's Donuts a couple years ago, they grew so much. You had so many of these franchisees, and not to get into the intricacies of business, but generally with a franchise, you pay a fee. You then get to use that name. You get security of nobody can start one of these within a certain radius of you. And then generally,
you get different assets.
Correct. You get access to different things. And also then usually you pay a percentage of whatever back to the company itself. And that's not the way every franchisee works. They don't go into great detail to that in the article. But what has appeared to have happened here, Casey, is that they being Jack's Donuts, told these franchisees, hey, we're going to start making the donuts for you at this large institution. saying then you won't have to worry about making them in your store.
You won't have the kitchen costs,
et cetera. And then there's one guy they interviewed, I think the Broad Ripple guy, who doesn't even have a kitchen. Like he bought the franchise with the assumption of, hey, they call it a commissary, is going to make all these donuts. It'll save me a whole bunch of money. And that has turned into basically a complete and utter dumpster fire.
Well, some of the franchisees, they're complaining about the quality of the donuts that are made at the commissary and then the logistical burden of transporting the donuts from location to location, especially to the ones without the kitchen.
So one of the things that is...
so it's obviously negatively impacted their sales.
Oh, totally. And he did some emailing back and forth with RTV. He didn't go on camera with them trying to, explain this away. And one of the things that is a reminder of, and any person who's ever owned a small business, I have owned multiple small businesses. Some were more successful than others. I was very fortunate that the businesses that I owned didn't end up like things that are going here, right? A lot of times it's luck. I bought a radio station right before the financial collapse of 2008. So it very easily could have, right? But we were able to get it together and make the thing work. But if you've never owned a small business, you have no idea just the stress and the intricacies. And I mean, it is a colossal pain in the ass. Like I don't think I would ever start another business again. I've started multiple ones. Some were more successful than others. I got out with my shirt by the time it was all said and done. But wow, there were a lot of nights where I did wonder, am I going to get out with my shirt with this? And, it ended up, we laugh about it now, but I ended up living at the radio station for a while because during the height of the financial collapse, it was like, whoo, boy, things are really tough around here. And those are some of the things that you have to do and small business owners do all the time. And so if you've never owned a small business and you know somebody who does own one, thank them for what they do. They are really the backbone of the American economy. But it seems like he got a little, what's the saying, over his skis or in over his head or, got in, bit off more than he could chew because this thing was growing so fast.
And that happens sometimes with businesses. If you grow too fast,
right,
you can't keep up with it.
Yeah, and he simply could not maintain, and doing this commissary seemed like a way to try to appease all of these franchises that were popping up. And now that thing has not worked out the way they predicted, a lot of these franchisees are looking around going, "Ooh, buddy, this doesn't seem like a very good time to own a Jack's Donuts."
Yeah, so some of the franchise owners, they have asked the CEO to resign. They've cited poor leadership and financial mismanagement. And sometimes this happens. Will he fire Chapter 11? Don't know, but at some point, it looks like he's going to have to reorganize the debt and the ownership. You mentioned financial collapse. Today's an anniversary, Rob.
Of what?
5 years ago, it was declared a COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh.
5 years ago today.
Huh.
What would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently than the government? Or what?
Yeah.
Because I remember the night that they shut everything down, or the last night, the Big Ten basketball tournament, just as it is now this year, was here in town. There was a game. Was Fred Hoiberg, was he the Nebraska coach? He got sick on the sidelines, but he didn't even have COVID. He had something else, and the world started freaking out. And I remember I was at the Kilroys downtown with a couple of buddies. I said, we got to go, because I said, I know where this is headed, and I think we're headed to some unprecedented thing, because I'm reading the tea leaves. I said, we're not going to get to do this for a while. So we were at the Kilroys the last night. Everything was open.
Were you fist bumping or elbow knocking?
No, that
was
no. That all seemed wholly ridiculous to me. That all of that stuff from the word go just seemed completely and utterly ridiculous to me. And to me, it always, as just a local bird lawyer and guy who plays a doctor on the radio, kind of knowing how viruses work, it was like, how are you going to stop people from getting this once it's here? Once it's here, let it run its course. It's going to get who it's going to get, and the people who need to take precautions, and everybody else just go about your lives. And I think it would have been over a lot quicker if we'd have just said, go live your life. If you're an elderly person or a person with certain comorbidities, then you take these precautions, and everybody else, 90% of the population, go do your thing.
Just get herd immunity.
Right.
Let it play out.
That was proven correct. It was because there's no proof that any of the stuff they made up, which they've now admitted, the 6 feet was made up, the masking was utterly ridiculous. The idea that, we've seen the things that get inside these masks, and yet we were led to believe that tiny little droplets of a virus were going to prevent you from getting COVID. The shot was, while it may have lessened the symptoms for some people, there's not a single person out there that can go, I didn't get COVID because I got the vaccine. We know a lot of people who got really sick.
Because of the vaccine.
I'd like to present to you
Exhibit A.
Miss Daniels. Would like if you'd like to tell the story of your family and what happened. You believe
sick
because
from
of
the vaccine.
Of the vaccine, and we know a lot of people died and had wholly miserable existences because they were choked off from society. We do know those things. Everything the government did basically was wrong.
When you look back, I mean, you think, okay, it was 5 years ago today. And one thing that I think is very obvious to most people is how much more awake people are.
Sure.
And realize the nonsense and the BS that we all went through.
Because it was in such a relatively short time because, look, I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. We were at the Kilroy's in Broad Ripple when the first person here tested positive for COVID, because I can remember the waitress coming up to us, my now wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, and I were at the Kilroy's in Broad Ripple with some friends, and she came up and said, the first person's tested positive. And then of course the news broke and it became a huge news story, and it was like I told my now wife, I said, that's it. I said, they're going to shut this thing down. I said, it'll be very quick. And she was like, oh, that's not going to happen. I said, you watch. And within a week, I think it was within a week with that Big Ten basketball tournament here, they did. That was it. And it was like this, it was this bizarre runaway freight train of just stupid.
Yeah.
It was a runaway freight train of stupid where everybody just started doing what somebody else did because somebody else did it without any sort of rhyme or reason. And every time I would see Governor Idiot go out and have his press conference and talk about trusting the science, I would say, what science are you trusting?
What he's being told by other people.
Exactly.
This message is for test purposes only. The National Weather Service in Indianapolis has issued this is a test message. This is a test tornado warning for all counties in central Indiana. This is a test message. Until 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is a test message. At 10:13 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, this is only a drill. This drill is part of Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week. Treat this as if it were a real emergency and practice your emergency plans. Because of this test tornado warning, the normal weather radio weekly test scheduled on Wednesdays will not take place this week. Expected hazards include no severe weather was occurring or expected. Source, this is a test. The following impacts are expected. In a real tornado, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Even well-built homes may suffer significant damage. This is test. This is a test message. Locations impacted include all of central Indiana. This is a test message. Take this time to practice your tornado preparedness plans.
Afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different, but one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's Tuesday, and you know what we do at this time on Tuesdays, right?
It's True Crime Tuesday.
That's right.
Where we take a look at a case that captivated the imagination, and we relive some of the most infamous crime cases in American history.
Yes, and today we're going to feature one of our favorite guests for the True Crime Tuesday segment.
Yes.
It is Aphrodite Jones.
That's right. You know her from television. You know her from many acclaimed books. Aphrodite Jones joins us now on the WIBC hotline. And this week we were talking about her fabulous book. 30 years ago now this book was written. All He Wanted, the transgender boy who paid the ultimate price. Aphrodite Jones, hello.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Casey.
Good morning.
All right, so tell us about this book. This book was in many ways years ahead of its time, and the fact that it involved the transgender person, the transgender movement. Tell us about this book and why you said, "Hey, I know it's been 30 years since I wrote this book, but I want to talk about it again today."
Okay. Well, it is important. It's very pertinent to today because, as you know, we're caught up in the trans movement, and so let me start with. This happened on December 31st, 1993. A person who was living as a boy who at the time had a sexual identity crisis, and that's all it was designated as, okay? There was no word transgender back then, guys. Did not exist, just so you understand. When I wrote this book, I wrote it as transgendered because that was the only word that pertained to it. That word didn't exist in the vocabulary in America or anywhere. So, we go from that to this boy moved to another town in Nebraska, Humboldt, Nebraska, and Falls City, Nebraska, was killed in Humboldt, was from Lincoln, Nebraska, and now living as a boy as opposed to a girl, was dating someone whose former boyfriend was a criminal. And when they realized that this person was not a boy, that Brandon Tina was actually Tina Brandon is the birth name, they depanced her and then raped her and took her, out into the fields and raped her and told her, if you tell anyone, if you go to the police, we're going to kill you. And she then called her mother, mother never knew she was living as a boy, and said, I was raped. What do I do? And the mother said, you got to go to the police. Well, when she went to the police, the cops in, Falls City, Nebraska, which is not exactly a metropolis, one of them said, you're an it. What are you? Because they knew about this person, had forged checks and whatever, so had known this person existed. And, it's horrible. So when they then went to Humboldt, Nebraska, and killed, after this rape was reported, Tina, or Brandon Tina, a roommate, and a third person, Philip Devine. So it was a triple homicide, okay?
Aphrodite Jones is our guest. It's True Crime Tuesday. We're reliving her book, All He Wanted, the transgender boy who paid the ultimate price. Okay, so I'm always fascinated with this, Aphrodite, with your many books. How did you get involved in the story? How did you become aware of the story? Why did you decide to write about this story?
So, interestingly enough, back then, the only thing close to understanding what this was hermaphrodite, which is somebody that supposedly has two sexes. And, of course, I thought, oh, my God, what is this? And I had written, Cruel Sacrifice, which you guys know is a big Indiana story, was about 4 teenage girls that there was a lesbian relationship within it. And so the gay community was very much in touch with me, and somebody from the gay community contacted me in what was then snail mail through my publisher and said, this just happened, you need to do this story. And so I went out there, and at the time they were calling this not a hate crime. They were calling it this person was a cross-dresser, transvestite. And it was just all wrong, And so I started to learn, and I felt like I needed to tell this story.
Were the perpetrators of this crime ever found?
They were both tried for murder separately in 1995. Both convicted. They're in prison for life without. And it was two guys that did this. And so I interviewed the one in prison. I interviewed pretty much everyone involved in this story. What I want to say to you guys is this, however. Back in time, and if you look in my book, you will see there's a moment where there's a transgender memorial service or transsexual, whatever you want to call it. There's a trans movement, quote unquote. And in that memorial service, the speaker, one of the icons of the trans movement, says, you know what, we should really get rid of any names on or any sex reassignment. People should be dropping like male and female from driver's licenses, passports, bathrooms. And at that time was saying that we should use gender neutral words like heesh, and the audience greeted with loud applause. Why am I talking about this? Because right now today, I feel that this trans movement is fake. Okay? I know that's going to be very controversial to people. When I say fake, there are truly transgendered people in this world. No question. However, it has now become a fad, in my opinion. All right? It has become something that has gone so out of control. When I heard this 30 years ago, or 1995 is when these trials were, and I heard them speak about, you shouldn't have sexes on passports, and you shouldn't have this, and everybody should be called different pronouns. I thought it was not a joke, but I thought that they were really reaching, okay? I couldn't believe I was my ears, and now here we are.
Yeah, Aphrodite Jones is our guest. It's so fascinating you said that. We're talking about her book, 30 years now on. The book, All He Wanted, the transgender boy who paid the ultimate price. You find that on Amazon, amongst other places. Casey, I've talked about this before. There are definitely people, I think, who believe that they were born in the wrong body, for lack of a better term. But it's such a small percentage of the population, and yet now we're led to believe that there's one of these people on every corner. And you're right. I think we've said the same thing you said. It's simply a movement that's been sort of co-opted, and there's not nearly as many people that actually have this affliction or ailment or whatever you want to say as we're led to believe.
Exactly. And the worst part of this is that young children are questioning, quote unquote. I mean, I've heard elementary school children. I know an example myself personally, who the child is questioning the sexuality. They're in fourth grade.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. And that's why I think it's great that you're back on talking about this today. So I'm curious, Casey talked about, did they catch these guys? You said, yes, you interviewed one of them in prison. Did they say why they did it? I mean, it's one thing to not like a movement or not like somebody who wants to be this or be mad that somebody you were involved with is now with one of these people, but that's a far cry from murder, rape and murder. Did they say why they did it? What was the interview like?
So the reason they did it is because both of them had befriended Brandon. And Brandon was living there, had moved there, and was living there without the mother's knowledge and didn't have much clothes and anything with him. So they had been giving him his clothes and underwear. They were sharing clothing with this person and believing, angry that this person had co-opted one of their girlfriends of one of the killers. And when they decided they were being, quote, lied to, all right, and that the wool was being pulled over their eyes, they took her out, depantsed her, as they call it. They ripped her pants down, raped her. And I think the reason it became murder is because, first of all, they both had criminal records. So when she reported it, now they're going to go to prison. And second of all, their masculinity was threatened by somebody who was not a man in their they didn't have male parts, and who had taken away, their girlfriend and had kind of tricked them. This was behind all of it. It was ego. They were threatened by that, and that's why.
Aphrodite Jones is with us, and we're talking about the book, All He Wanted. And your book was the basis for the film Boys Don't Cry. Were you involved in any aspect of the movie making?
So, interestingly enough, originally I sold this book to Diane Keaton was going to produce it, and Drew Barrymore was going to play the part. As it evolved, it became somebody else producing it, and Hilary Swank, who won the Academy Award for it, that was her debut into the world of film. Once that happened, I actually had to sue New Line Cinema because they had co-opted the story. I had the life rights, and ultimately they settled with me and with Diane Keaton and with Drew Barrymore. So the answer is no. I did not have anything to do with the movie, which was sad. But I was glad that at the end of the day, if they had used Drew Barrymore, we knew who she was. Hilary Swank was an unknown. I don't think anyone could have pulled that off if they were a known person. So.
All right, the book, 30 years on now. It's amazing how these books just, there's nothing new under the sun, right? What's old is new again, and what a timely read it is today. All He Wanted, the transgender boy who paid the ultimate price. Aphrodite Jones, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you both. Talk to you soon.
Okay, it is Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Call today or visit bwindow.com. This month only, receive $400 off per window, $850 off per patio or entry door with 2.99% financing.
'93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A change to its bag policy. It's sunny and 56 degrees in downtown Indy with a high of 70 this afternoon. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Southwest Airlines announcing this morning that it would no longer offer free checked bags. That goes into effect either on or after May 28th of this year. They didn't say how much each bag would cost, but the standard is anywhere from $35 to $50 per checked bag, depending on the airline. 2 boys were shot in a drive-by Monday on Indy's west side. IMPD Captain Rob Ryder says it happened just before 10 o'clock, and it's important to teach kids good morals.
Sometimes, as you know, children don't always listen to that teaching. They don't listen to our instructions as parents, so it's unfortunate when we have those in our community that wish to do others harm.
Police are searching for suspects. The House is expected to vote today on a stopgap government funding bill as a possible shutdown looms Friday. The proposed legislation from Speaker Mike Johnson would fund the government through the end of September. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Best decision I ever made was having Window Nation windows installed in my house, saving me a bunch of money on energy. My old windows were cracked and drafty and letting the air through. Window Nation came in and took care of all that within a day. And you know what? Window Nation windows are high quality and affordable. Right now, you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027.
This is the deal you want. 2 windows for free with every 2 that you buy. Plus, 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years, pay nothing until 2027. Call a representative at Window Nation right now. They will walk you through the entire process. 866-90-NATION. Get that fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. and happy 50th.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church, and we love many things about Life Church, but one of them, right near the tippy top of the list, is the sense of community you have at Life Church. When you make Life Church a part of your community, you surround yourself with friendly people who love God and His Word. You know, one of the great things about Life Church is meeting all the people who have been WIBC listeners for many, many years. And Life Church would love the opportunity to show you what they're all about. They're warm, they're welcoming. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. 4 campuses all across central Indiana: Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. They've got incredible online services. They've got the Life Church Coffee House now on Sheridan Road there in Noblesville as well. Learn more about it all. LifeChurchIN.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. When your garage floor has stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your whole garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job looks even worse. Look, spring will be here on March 20th. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio and installation this spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross concrete floor coating won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. In one day, we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross concrete floor in 6 stages, just in time for spring. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio and installation by spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
My brother never checks on Dad. Or, my sister won't make time to take Mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov or text money to 46220 today.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you'd like to get involved with voicemails with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Coming up on Monday, Rob, we got something going on, right?
Property tax rally.
Oh, yes, that's it. March 17th, 1 p.m. at the State House.
So the itinerary right now is you've got Hammer's going to MC. Micah will speak. Then we're going to have a couple of our state reps who have been very supportive get up and talk about this. Then we're going to have a couple local government people who are very passionate about acknowledging there's all sorts of places we can find money from. This is not, these don't believe these doom and gloomers. They're going to get up and speak. Then you and I are going to get up and wow the crowd with our charm and charisma. And then we're working on, for a show closer, a very special guest. Who has been watching the growing interest with great interest of their own. And hopefully we'll have that announcement for you if that's going to happen a little bit later this week. And They're anticipating Casey heard me on the phone with one of the people who's helping us. They're anticipating a rather large crowd on Monday.
Well, we hope so,
What you
because
need.
that's the whole idea, right?
Right.
Well, here is a phone call, and it is about property taxes.
I did have one question involving that. With all these people claiming that, if we take away the property taxes, and how are we going to pay for this, pay for the lights, we're going to lose the lights, lose, schools and all that. My question is, how was they able to pay for all that before the property taxes, before Mitch Daniels, if I'm not mistaken, before Mitch Daniels implemented, or whoever implemented it? That's my question, is how were they able to pay for all that stuff before we had the massive property taxes?
Okay, so before the property tax caps, all property taxes went to local governments. So the schools, specifically the schools, it was basically the Wild West. You set a tax rate. This is not exactly right, but I'm simplifying a complex thing here. The schools set their tax rate, and it was what it was, and they paid for everything out of the property taxes. So the teachers, the buildings, the buses, almost all of it came out of property taxes. The state had very little involvement with that. When the property tax caps were put into place, it wasn't like they just said, "Oh, deal with it." They raised the sales tax from 5 to 7%. So pre-property tax cap, you were paying a 5% sales tax in the state of Indiana. Post-property tax cap, they raised the sales tax, and that money then went to pay the teachers. So the local governments no longer had to pay the teachers anymore. The property taxes then only went to bright, shiny objects, primarily buildings. Buses. I believe the tippy-top administrators are paid with property tax, if I'm not mistaken, superintendents, et cetera. And so people, these I don't never accuse these people of being deliberately misleading. Probably just didn't know. I mean, you're a superintendent. Why would I expect you to have any sort of understanding of history of how property taxes have worked? But you never hear that mentioned in any of the poor me, poor singing orphan testimony about how we literally raised taxes when the property tax caps went into effect. And that's what should really piss everybody off. You still have the 2% property sales tax increase that's still in effect, and your property taxes have never been higher. Right. So not only have the thing that was supposed to be fixed, which is property taxes, not only is it a complete dumpster fire, but you have the sales tax increase on top of that. And I don't see the schools giving any of the sales tax increase back with the rising of property taxes.
I thought his question was going to be, what do we do before 2021?
Well, that's a great question, right?
Because that's the date for the reset that we're trying to get accomplished.
This thing, and what we started our show with today, is the latest example of this, that the city of Westfield had $1.8 million laying around to be able to pay the federal government to conduct a special census, which 7 months later has still not been done. They have no idea when it's going to be done, and they don't know if they're going to get their money back. They had $1.8 million laying around, not for police, not for fire, not for roads, not for bridges, not for sidewalks, not for water, not for sewer. They had $1.8 million laying around to roll the dice on a special census, which even if it does pay off, would not be for years in the future. That's almost as bad, not quite, but almost as bad as the $58.5 million Carmel spent on the taxpayer-funded hotel. Right? There's tons of money. Money is not the issue. Taxes are control. These people are mad because if you get your property tax relief, they lose control.
They can't grow.
Right. I mean, it is making them have to roll up their sleeves and get their acts together. It's the same way as every time these referendums fail, the schools don't disappear. The schools still exist. Brownsburg had a $100 million school referendum defeated in 2015. I challenge anybody. I'll do a walking tour with you. You want to go walk? We'll walk Tilden and Odell. And I challenge anybody to tell me they see any suffering with all that. They've done the $100 million expansion over 10 years that they wanted to do, plus stuff. I know. They've totally disrupted the people who live on the other side of the street from me, their backyards. They've just put a giant road basically in those people's backyards. There's no suffering going on. In Danville, their referendum got defeated. Danville seems just fine. They're doing all the stuff they were doing before. These people don't want to work. That's what this is about. They don't want to work. They don't want to be creative. They don't want to have to put any brain power behind this. They just want to go with their hand out and go, gimme, 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 gimme.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another phone call. This one is about if you're actually going to the rally.
If anybody wants to go to the rally in March, tell them they can use the city bus, Indigo. It takes you right within a couple of blocks over. You don't have to worry about parking. And if you think you need to leave early, just carry a sign with you, with us, and we can say, I'm here for such and such, and I'm going to go because the buses are running, and I got to leave. And you'll be killing two birds with one stone. Take good care. Bye now.
And by the way, and we're going to have somebody on later this week to talk about this, our friends at Hoosier Liberty PAC are they're printing signs. Our friends, they're tied into the Indie Defenders of Liberty. They're going to be handing out signs at the rally. And by the way, signs cannot be bigger than 24 by 24. That's the limit on signs in the State House.
What do the signs say that they're printing? Do we know?
We're gonna. I don't want to give it away. We got a guest. We don't give it away. It's they asked me what I would put on the signs, and I said,
and they cleaned it up.
Well, I desperately wanted them to say Scott Baldwin sucks.
Okay.
But I don't think they went with Scott Baldwin sucks on the signs.
Okay.
Hammer's next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Vote now on our social media at Hammer and Nigel. Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. What song do you want to move on? We'll have a new matchup coming up this afternoon.
You love spring and Indy, but you hate to paint, so do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
The house that Rhino Shield did for my husband and I, after having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Visit Rhino Shield's booth at the Flower and Patio Show and learn about their 25-year transferable warranty protection. Plus, receive a free prize.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe. Laugh until your belly aches. Cry because you care so much. And experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
As an IT professional, you have the opportunity to guarantee your data security, participate in 100% landfill-free disposal, and have peace of mind with R2 V3 certifications. Technology Recyclers provides guaranteed complete data destruction, 100% landfill-free disposal, and the certification to back it up. Protect your data while saving the planet. Receive a free pickup of your e-waste from Technology Recyclers. Visit tech-recyclers.com. That's tech-recyclers.com.
I'll say this. There are no entries in the Hoops Fan Hall of Fame who didn't show up to the game. Yes, you in the back.
Professor, March Madness is coming to Indianapolis. Are we ready?
You prepared to bring the fire? Give it 110 from tip to the final buzzer? Oh, you're ready. The NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th and 30th in Indianapolis. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVB tickets. Class dismissed.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
The crew at LD Smith Plumbing has deep roots in Indiana. Unfortunately, most of the trees around here have deep roots too. And if it isn't roots in your pipes, it's a water heater ruined by sediment. No matter the plumbing problem, we'll show water who's boss. So if you need a new water heater, call us today and save up to $300 on a tankless water heater or $150 on a storage water heater.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Cyndi Lauper with Jake Wesley Rogers on Thursday, August 7th at Ruoff Music Center.
More info online at WIBC.com.
Had this conversation before.
What's that?
Cyndi Lauper conversation.
Not with me, you haven't.
Yeah, I think we have. You got mad because I said Money Changes Everything is one of the 10 greatest songs of all time.
Oh, you say stupid stuff all the time. I probably forgot about it.
That's still one of the great...
He ignored it.
I don't know if there's a
Moved on.
recording of it somewhere,
Right.
but it was the night show when Hammer, just went ballistic on me over the Katy Perry commentary.
Yeah.
When Rob starts talking about the greatest songs of all time, it's like when the libertarians start talking about who they're going to lift up on the pedestal. It's like, okay.
You just tune it out.
Hey, that sounds great. You rub his hair and just run off into the sunset.
Did you get tickets? You already get your Cyndi Lauper tickets?
No, but we're giving them away this week. Maybe you could be caller number 9, Rob.
Can't win. We've already been through this. I can't win.
Stipulations.
Now, story of your life, isn't it? Hey, every day at 4:35, we are doing Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. And I heard you talking earlier, Miss Casey, 5 years ago to this date, it was declared the official pandemic.
That's right.
Right? And when I see the Big Ten tournament in Indy, I think about 5 years ago, they were pulling dudes off the court at halftime.
That's
remember?
right.
Here in Indy. So I think it's only fitting that the first matchup we had yesterday, which you can still vote on, featured hits from the COVID year. We've got 7 years worth of hits to play with from Hammer and Nigel Records. So yesterday, we have the number 10 seed going against the number 7 seed. The number 10 seed, by the time the summer came around of COVID year, I was worn out. I was tired of listening to the, quote, science. They'd taken my kids out of school. I was a raging alcoholic. And that's when I put this little Bryan Adams tribute together. I got my first real face mask. Bought it at my local Walgreens. Did a lot of drinking cause was the summer of COVID-19.
Come on, let's go.
They took all my kids out of school. E-learning sucks butt cheeks. Listening to Flip Flop and Fauci telling me to wait another 2 weeks.
Let's go.
Standing 6 feet apart. This summer seemed to last forever. And then I lit a fart. I was bored and it was now or never. This is the worst year of my life. There it is. The summer of COVID-19. So that's from the number 10 seed in our tournament.
Really good.
Can't believe you didn't win a Marconi for that
Really
one.
good.
Taking on another hit from the COVID year. Now, if you remember, the way they were testing for COVID in China was a little different than what we were doing here in the United States. In some Chinese airports, they were doing anal swabs to screen you for COVID. And I had been listening to a little bit of Billy Ray Cyrus when I put this together.
China has a new coronavirus anal swab test. Some Chinese experts claim it's way more effective.
You can tell the doc to give me all them shots. You can tell the nurse to check my head. Yeah. And you can take a swab and jam it up my schnoz and twist it all around until I'm dead. All right. And tell your doctor that I'll wear 13 masks and you can draw some blood out of my back. Okay. I'll sneeze into a tube, but forget about the lube. You ain't coming anywhere near my crack. Here we go. Don't touch my butt. Come on. My tighty-whitey butt. I just don't think you'd understand. Come on. That if you touch my butt, my tighty-whitey butt, I might pop off and punch this man. Woo! River.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
There it is. So those are the two competing head-to-head. You've got until about 3:30 to vote today. You can go to Hammer and Nigel Facebook or Twitter, both of them.
Yeah.
We will combine all the numbers up. Whoever gets the most votes will move on to the next round.
I'm going to go with the 10 seed.
So am I.
Yeah.
It was leading. We got a little upset brewing in the very first matchup here. The summer of COVID-19 has a slight lead.
I'd even forgotten about that one. I'm sure that's part of the fun of this, is revealing all the little hidden gems that have entertained the masses over the years.
You go down memory lane.
We've had so many songs from the COVID year. We probably could have just did a whole COVID songs bracket. But today, I believe we're looking at the 6 versus 11 matchup. So if you want to go to WIBC.com and see what that matchup is, get a head start, check out the Hammer and Nigel page. The bracket is posted.
You were also the big winner yesterday. We had When Will Our Boss, Matt Hiblin, remember that we have an IU game on Thursday and we have a short show. And you were the person, the over-under was Wednesday at 9 a.m. And really within an hour of you taking the under, he did send the email letting us know he was aware that we will only be on until 11 on Thursday.
Yeah.
Just the first of many wins coming this March Madness, baby. There it is. It's a big month for gambling degenerates, and we've got a new Degenerates Next Door podcast out today.
Today on the show, we're going to take a look back at the some of the more infamous spreads for the national championship games over the years. I saw this yesterday. Went down memory lane, and I was amazed at what some of these spreads were.
So we've got that this afternoon on our program. Jeff Boggs will join us. We'll do some caller roulette. And at 4:35, another Hammer and Nigel Records Madness matchup.
Lots of fun. Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
That's are us when dreams don't get in. That's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's our us. When dreams sunk in, that's our us.
Hey, Wings Etc. fans, guess what? March 10th through 13th is Wings Schooner Madness. We're rolling back prices on award-winning wings and big ice cold schooners to just 69 cents for wings and $5 for domestic schooners. Dine in only. Mark your calendars for March 10th through 13th and get great deals on wings and domestic schooners when you dine in for Wings Schooner Madness. March 10th through 13th, only at your local Wings Etc. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub with 15 Central Indiana locations and online at wingsetc.com.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant and home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what meteorologists say you should know about the upcoming weather, why the city of Indianapolis has removed a recycling station and where they're doing that, and what police know so far about 2 teenagers who got into some trouble Monday night. Those stories and more coming up after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it's now 11 o'clock.
He's targeting Canada again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump angry over Ontario's government putting a 25% charge on power it supplies to the northern U.S. Vows in a long Truth Social post about an hour ago to declare a national electricity emergency in the affected areas. And Fox's Jared Halpern reports from the White House.
Tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada will be doubled from 25% to 50% tomorrow. President Trump accuses Canada's government of not doing enough to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. and says unfair trade practices are harming American farmers and manufacturers. The president is also threatening to substantially increase tariffs on cars from Canada next month.
Now on Wall Street, there is more selling on worry about tariffs leading to inflation, maybe causing a recession. The Dow plunging 632 points. It's down around 2,500 so far this month. The NASDAQ losing 125 points right now. The House plans an afternoon vote on a spending plan to fund the government before a Friday deadline. Democrats oppose the plan, prompting House Speaker Mike Johnson to say a short time ago,
"It's a striking new posture for Democrats who have always said they've just been apoplectic about the prospect of government shutdowns."
But Fox's Chad Perkin reports from the Capitol. There's still some arm twisting to get a few skeptical Republicans on board.
President Trump was calling members. If you thought you had all the votes nailed down, you wouldn't have to call members, and that's what he was doing. That's the reason Vice President Vance is here. House Speaker Mike Johnson indicated that he thinks they might only lose 1 vote. Thomas Massie, the Republican from Kentucky, is a no. President Trump unloaded on Massie. He threatened a primary challenge.
We're still waiting for word on a progress report out of Saudi Arabia with talks going on today between Ukrainian officials and the U.S., led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, trying to find a way to end the war with Russia.
The important point in this meeting is to establish clearly their intentions, their desire, as they've said publicly now numerous times, to reach a point where peace is...
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Severe weather, possible Friday. We're now up to 58 degrees under a sunny sky in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. And all options are on the table, says Joe Neild with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
Again, a lot can change. There's a lot of details that remain to be ironed out. But at this point, especially being Severe Weather Preparedness Week, it's a great time for people to be thinking about their plans, monitoring forecast updates as we go through the week.
Neild says wind gusts could be up to 40 miles an hour overnight from Friday into Saturday. The city of Indianapolis has removed a recycling station on the east side over concerns about trash piling up at the site, including illegal dumping and fires. The Department of Public Works emphasized that the drop-off location locations are for household recyclable materials only. Businesses or community groups interested in hosting a recycling bin can contact Sustain Indy at indy.gov. $2.86 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. 2 teenagers shot in a drive-by on Indy's West Side Monday. Ryan Hedrick reports.
From what we know right now, the victims were inside the home when someone began firing into the home from the outside.
IMPD Captain Rob Ryder speaking to reporters after the shooting has at least a half dozen evidence markers line the streets, but police aren't saying much else.
Right now we have a vague just vehicle description, but we're not releasing that at this time.
The shooting happened along Butternut Lane just north of 10th Street on the far west side. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Busy time for men's college hoops. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on Pittsburgh in the first round of the ACC tournament today with tip-off at 2 o'clock. Other teams have to wait a bit, like the Indiana Hoosiers, who will face Oregon on Thursday in the Big Ten tournament.
There's times where things are always just look the worst and look like everything is just not going your way, and there's times where you feel like you're on top of the world. The good teams are able to balance that. We've done a great job of that recently.
That's IU guard Trey Galloway. Indiana's won 4 of their last 5 games. Tip-off between Indiana and Oregon is at noon on Thursday, which you can hear right here on 93 WIBC. Purdue also plays Thursday. Their opponent still to be determined. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. WIBC News Time, 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 11th. It is 5 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Donald Trump has ordered a 25% increase in tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum imports. That brings the total up to 50%. That move is in response to Ontario's decision to impose a 25% tax on electricity exports to the U.S. New tariffs are going to take effect on Wednesday, tomorrow.
And again, the stock market is responding accordingly. It's not been a good couple days, and it was down 500 at one point. I don't know if it still is. Obviously, that moves in real time. Look, here is my thing, and Hammer and I were talking about this during the break, and I said this on the air yesterday. We are in an era, and I think this is just the way it is now going forward, where people have very short attention spans, and people want what they want, and if you ask them, well, how do you hope to achieve that? They're like, well, that's what I elect you for.
Right.
You and I could think that sounds ludicrous, but that's where so much of our country is. It's a largely apathetic, disengaged populace who doesn't want to put the time or the effort into understanding or having some sort of philosophy or philosophical view of government or how it should work. And with Trump, you can say, oh, it was a landslide. Yeah, he won the Electoral College. But the country is still evenly divided. The country is still basically a pick'em country, and people ping-pong back and forth based on who's not getting it done this time. So we go back the other way. I mean, look at it. It was Bush and then Obama, and then it was Trump, and then it was Biden, and then it was Trump. It's been 30-plus years since we had 35 years. Well, I mean, if you go back to when Reagan was like 45 years now since we had, 3 terms of the same party because people don't know what they want. And so the reality of that is it comes back to Trump has jumped in the deep end on a whole bunch of things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not the end goal on all of this has not, I don't think, been very clearly articulated. And so people get mad when you're critical of Trump, but that's part of why we are intellectually honest brokers. When we think our side's doing well, we praise them. When we think they're making a mistake, we're critical of them. And I think with this tariff thing, Trump has not clearly laid out what the end game is. He has not clearly defined success. He has not clearly defined what he wants Canada to do. The reality is Canada's not ever going to be the 51st state. The Canada's not ever going to do all the things we want them to do. What are the things, what is the line in the sand that they have to accomplish, and how does that make our country better? And I just haven't heard that from him. I've heard a lot of this will make you wealthy, and then people are looking at their 401ks going, it's kind of making the opposite of wealthy.
Right.
It's not helping.
Do not look at your 401k today. And so
I just think until he does that, he's put himself in a real box right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get the point. Like how come they can do it, but we can't? He's trying to even the playing field, but he demanded that Canada remove its anti-American farmer tariff, this on the U.S. dairy products as well. It's like they're selecting certain products, so now Trump is selecting certain products.
And that's okay, but the problem is the original thing on this was we won't enact the tariffs until they do what we want them to do as long as they're going to do what we want them to do on the border.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what were those things? That was never really laid out to the American people. Well, now it's turned into it's a trade imbalance, right? Or it's a tariff imbalance. Well, that's not the border.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've shifted the goal or the thing or the reason.
The talking point is changing.
And the bigger problem here is you campaigned on I'm going to fix prices, and you campaigned on the economy's a mess and I'm going to fix it. Well, okay, but that's not. There's going to be a lot of pain before you get, and I'm not disputing what he's trying to do. I'm just saying politically, people are not going to have the patience if this goes on for a long period of time.
Well, I think it was on this very program we said it's going to get worse before it gets better, and this seems to be the worst.
And I'm okay with that because I understand structurally our economy, it's a magic trick. We've been doing a magic trick since the days of Bush with this economy, which is printing money, bailing people out, picking winners and losers, flooding the market with money, the economy with money, and it has to go somewhere, so it goes into the stock market, and people blindly are like, oh, things are going very well. Look at the stock market. Well, that money had to go somewhere. It's not, there is not a firm basis for what's been taking place, and it does need to correct itself. But I'm into it, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
You're into it. We live in this world. The average person doesn't, nor are they going to put the effort into understanding that, and they're going to turn on him if he doesn't lay it out and if he doesn't give clear expectations and how we're supposed to judge success.
Speaking of turning on him, even yesterday on Fox News, it sounded like they were turning on Trump.
And if you have different people in the administration giving different messages, I mean, the Commerce Secretary and the President are having different messages on the same day. That's not giving the market any sort of ease or certainty for investors. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have an even greater crash.
We should let Jonathan keep talking.
That's exactly what you said yesterday. They don't have the same message, and they gotta do that for people.
You think about we're in the NFL season, right? We're in the legal tampering period, and we're in the draft. Will be coming up, and Hammer and I were having this conversation about the Colts. One of the things I think people would appreciate from their pro sports teams is honesty. And I think a big frustration with the Colts is they don't feel they've gotten an honest assessment from Jim Irsay or Chris Ballard. And you look at the Colts and you go, what are the Colts? I mean, listen to the fan guys driving in this morning, and they're talking about, well, the Colts' big free agent signings were a corner and a safety. Okay, yeah, the Colts defense kind of stinks, but do we think a safety and a corner, given the very clear problems they have, structural problems on the offensive side of the ball, are going to make the team a Super Bowl contender? No, of course not. So if you're not a Super Bowl contender, which any honest person looks at, And you go, what are you fighting for? The right to be 9-7 and get your ass beat in the first round of the playoffs? Like, wouldn't it maybe be better just to go, this is not working. We're going to tank this thing and start all over. But you get this mixed messaging. Like, what are we? What are we trying to do? Nobody believes you're a Super Bowl contender, but you don't have the guts to say, well, we're fighting just to be a 7 seed and make the playoffs. Our division stinks enough. We think we can slip through and win it. Like, people know that's what you're doing, but you're not being honest with us about it. It's the same thing here with Trump. People are when you're not giving a clear message, when you're not saying, this is what we're doing, this is what you're going to feel, this is what we're going to have to go through to accomplish this, then in the middle of this, you can go, see, guys, look, we told you this. This is step one, and this is playing out exactly as we thought, and here's the things we're accomplishing, and here's the things you judge us by. Those don't exist. People just go by the market, and it's not going to go well for him.
Well, do you think Trump's message yesterday of this is a transition period wasn't loud enough? Like,
but transition
was that
to
him
what?
To a better economy?
How? Right, dead air.
Yeah.
You can't answer that. Nor can Kevin.
The pain of the tariffs.
But there's no, it's like the...
then you've got the continuing resolution that they're going to try to vote on, which is a whole nother thing.
I want to get to that in a second because that's really pissing me off. But it's like the South Park episode, the underwear gnomes. We take we steal the underwear, something, profit. Okay, but what's the thing?
What's
the thing in the middle?
What's the something?
How do the tariffs? How do they? Okay, you fix the trade balance, but we don't have the ability to make a lot of these things here. We don't have the manpower. We don't have the ability. We don't have the institutions to be able to do it. So just because you make the trade balance better, it doesn't mean the economy gets better. And so comes back to that article in Politico that we talked about a lot while you were gone, and we had Mitch Daniels on and talked about with him, where Mitch Daniels said, in government, as much as you want to just come in with the machete, you got to take a scalpel and you got to get wins, and then the wins snowball and you build momentum. That's how Mitch Daniels became the most beloved political figure in the history of the state. He was getting little wins, and then he started going for bigger things and bigger things and bigger things. And he kept getting them because people were looking around going, the Republicans looked around at the time and said, hey, people like this guy. He's been successful. He's done the things he said he was going to do. Let's invest in him. Let's in the major moves and these big things. And for a long time, they ran the state very well. Holcomb and Pence have totally screwed it up, but the state ran pretty well for that period. Trump is not doing that. And I want him to succeed. I understand kind of. Isn't that weird, though? Even I'm like, I kind of understand what he's trying to do, but the average person does not. And you have to dumb it down to the average person to where they can, in their head, say, okay, here's the 3 things he's trying to do. Here's why. Here's what's going to happen. And this is just step 1 of that, and it'll all be fine in the end. Right now, people are going, ooh, maybe it wasn't so bad under Biden.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm saying that. I'm saying there's a lot of people that are looking at the stock market going, I thought you were supposed to be the guy fixing the economy.
So we have to talk about the continuing resolution and then what Donald Trump said about Thomas Massie.
This is garbage. And this is the thing that pisses a lot of people off. Where Trump ran on, hey, the spending's out of control. Hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And they're doing the same thing. And then he gets ridiculous with people that are saying, okay, I accept your offer to fix the spending. And then they're mad that the one guy is like, hey, the spending's out of control. Let's fix the spending.
We'll talk about it coming up from 93 WIBC.
In purgatory, tortured souls lie trapped somewhere between heaven and you know where. This is where we find ourselves, trapped somewhere between winter and spring, tortured by strange weather patterns.
As the weather worsens,
cold, snow, and ice.
These temperatures,
then thaw, rain, and flood. Let us be your guide through all stages of
spring,
winter, your severe winter,
spring,
and spring weather station, 93 WIBC.
Hey, it might be hard times for the economy, which means it's the perfect time for Universal Windows Direct's Tax Time Sale, where you could save big while making your home more comfortable and energy efficient. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. There's no limit. Math says if you need 4, you only pay for 2. You need 20, you only pay for 10. And here's something that'll make your wallet even happier. Pay no interest, zip zero, zilch until 2030. That's right, no interest for the next 6 years, making it easier than ever to afford the quality windows your home needs. But wait! There's more. This month only, Universal Windows Direct is giving you an extra $500 off your home improvement project. So, $500 off. No interest till 2030. Buy two, get two free. All going on right now with Universal Windows Direct. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the information and schedule your totally free in-home estimate, call today. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. See it all for yourself on the World Wide Web. Does anybody say World Wide Web anymore? www. Stop laughing, Casey. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Dads happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
Call today or visit bwindow.com. This month only, receive $400 off per window, $850 off per patio or entry door with 2.99% financing.
There it is, Cyndi Lauper. Tickets go on sale today, Rob.
You know, if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you?
Okay.
What?
It's true. It's what she's singing about, right?
Loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So let's talk about the continuing resolution that's going on. House is expected to vote on that today. And Mike Johnson, he said that the Democrats are going to try to shut the government down. He said every House Democrat will participate in this. Isn't that something? The Democrats were like, no, you're going to shut the government down. And now they're saying, shut the government down.
But what are they doing? They're lying to the American people again. They've once again... Trump and the Republicans have lied to the American people. Mike Johnson has lied to the American people. Everybody other than probably Rand Paul and Thomas Massie have lied to the American people, which is the Republicans again ran on the spending's out of control, the inflation's out of control, elect us, we'll fix it. And what are they doing? They're continuing. I mean, they can. Their argument now is, look, we're not increasing spending. Look at us. We're not increasing spending. Oh, thanks for all of that. Now, what about the $37 trillion of debt you clowns have racked up? And this is why you can't believe in them. You can't trust them. It's always the same. It's the same, the Democrats and Republicans, they just fund different bullcrap. It's essentially what the Republicans are saying is Joe Biden is still president for another 6 months. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying. They're funding all the Biden priorities. It's all still going to be there.
With an increase in defense spending.
Oh, of course, because it's always, and this is the hypocrisy of these people. Every time the Republicans get in, the first thing they go for is not to get the stuff under control. It's how much more can we give defense, as though there's no waste in defense, as though there's no irresponsible spending in defense. This happens every single time, and their argument was, well, we cut some over here, so it's just neutral. You're racking up $1 trillion plus annual deficits. Mm-hmm. Like, it's these people are gross, and it's all lip service, and you can't believe a word any of them say.
Well, it's okay to spend when it's what they want to spend it on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the thing you're going to hear now is that the Republicans want to pass a clean bill.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, they want so it'll be the same stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is why I've said the Doge stuff to me is laughable, because it doesn't matter if, and Rand Paul was talking about this the other day, it doesn't matter what it's. Exact same thing we say here every day, and Rand Paul's saying the same thing. It doesn't matter what Elon Musk finds. This new stuff they're funding paying for will just keep the USAID, all that stuff. It's fine to say, oh, we found this.
It's a shell game. It's going from one place to another.
Absolutely. And then what is really gross is Donald Trump runs on, I'm going to fix the economy, I'm going to fix the spending, I'm going to fix inflation. And Thomas Massie of Kentucky says, okay, great, cool, let's vote accordingly. And they put this oh, man, I almost did it. They put this really bad bill forward, and Massey's the only one that's like...
He said he's a no.
We promised to fix this, and you're just making Joe Biden president for 6 more months. No, I'm out on this. And instead of these people looking in the mirror and going, you know what, he's right. We're lying to America again. We're lying. Rudy Yakum and Hoppen Houchin and Marlin and Marlin's the one I'm really disappointed in. Because Marlin used to be one of these guys who stood with Thomas Massie. I don't know who got to him. I don't know why he's changed. I don't know why he's going along with this. But Marlin Stutzman is not the same Marlin Stutzman who was in Congress, whatever it was, 8-9 years ago. Not the same guy at all. Bouchon's Shreve, Messmer. I mean, all of these guys. Baird, which I totally expected from him.
Yeah.
Why are you okay with this? Why are you okay with lying to the American people? Why are you okay with not following through?
They're okay with it because if they go against him, like Massie is doing, Donald Trump is saying that they'll primary him.
Aha! Perfect. Yes, you are both beautiful and smart at the same time. What a dangerous combination. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And we have talked about this for a long time on this show, that it's one thing to ride with the president. It's another thing as a member of the Congress to be afraid of the president. The president is not a king. And it's okay to have team sport, and it's okay to run together, and it's okay to run on ideals. But you are the check and balance on this guy, and there is no check and balance because everybody's petrified because they need these jobs. It's pathetic.
That's why there's executive, legislative, and judicial.
Yeah, and we left Sparts off this list, too, because, of course, after she got done with her huffing and puffing, she does what she always does, which is vote for all of this stuff. And she'll come up with some lame excuse like, I was looking for a rule change. I was looking for a procedural this or that. Yeah, lady, you just kept spending the money. But now Trump, and everybody should be really disappointed in Trump, instead of looking at Thomas Massie going, you know what, he's right. He's doing the thing that I campaigned on. Thanks, we should all try to be more like him. No, here come the threats from Trump. Should we? I don't even know. Do I even want to read it?
Yes,
I don't know.
I want a dramatic
Kev, I don't
reading.
want, no, let's change it up. I'm not giving him Whitney for this. Let's do the hate mail, because this is pretty hateful stuff from Trump.
Yeah.
And it's a guy who deserves nothing other than thanks.
So Thomas Massie from Kentucky, he opposed the House's continuing resolution, and the deadline for this comes up on Friday.
Right. All right, we ready? Hey, by the way, and somebody said this in the YouTube chat, John Boy, where's the Epstein list, Trump? Pam Bondi?
Yeah.
Kash Patel? Where's the Epstein list that we were promised on day one?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have time to put that out, but you have time to go at Thomas Massie. All right, here we go. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you to the Freedom Caucus for just delivering a big blow to the radical left Democrats. Pause. They're funding Biden's spending levels, and I'm supposed to believe that there's some blow to the radical left? You're funding almost all of their stuff. What's the blow, Trump? What blow was delivered to the radical left? You're giving the Biden spending levels another 6 months. Go ahead. And their desire to raise taxes and shut our country down. They hate America and all it stands for. That's why they allowed millions of criminals to invade our nation. Sometimes it takes great courage to do the right thing. Pause. So continuing to fund Joe Biden's spending levels and almost all of Joe Biden's priorities, that's courage. Also, if you want to address the border, then address the border. Have a border bill, a clean border bill, and offset it with cuts for whatever spending you want to increase to the border, which is fine. Then cut somewhere else and present a clean border bill if that's your goal. But Trump doesn't want to do that because he wants to use border as the leverage to get all this legalized vote. Boy, I almost did it again. All this legalized vote buying junk like the no tax with tips, which is exactly what it is.
So they're saying that it is to implement his agenda, which is to secure the border and drain the swamp.
Then do it on its own.
Boost American prosperity. Those are their talking points.
Why is this so hard to say? We're going to have a clean border bill that solves all the border issue, and whatever it costs on top of what we're currently spending, we're going to not spend that somewhere else, and here's where we're not going to spend that. Why is that so hard? Why does that make you some sort of bad American for wanting to do that?
Okay, let's get back to primarying Thomas Massie.
All right, here we go. Where am I at? He types so much. Sometimes it takes great courage to do the right thing. Congressman Thomas Massie of beautiful Kentucky is an automatic no vote on just about everything, despite the fact that he has always voted for continuing resolutions in the past. He should be primaried, and I will lead the charge against him. He's just another grandstander who's too much trouble and not worth the fight. Stop. He's saying you're not worth the fight. Donald Trump is saying you are too much trouble and you are not worth the fight if you believe he should be held accountable for what he campaigned on. Tell me I'm wrong that's what he just said.
He doesn't want anybody to oppose him. Yeah.
He said if you believe in holding him to any sort of account and making him follow through on what he promised, which is to get spending and inflation under control, you're not worth the trouble. That's what Donald Trump thinks of you.
He's going to lead the fight.
All right. I should probably end this. He reminds me of Liz Cheney.
Oh, boy.
Before her historic, record-breaking fall. Loss! The people of Kentucky won't stand for it. And just watch. Do I have any takers? Anyway, thank you again to the House Freedom Caucus for your very important vote. We need to buy some time in order to make America great again.
Okay, so maybe that's what he's saying. He just needs time. Just go with this. And what's it going to fund him through September? Is that when it goes
Casey,
through?
are you getting dizzy from the spinning?
I'm
Don't drive. You're not allowed to drive any automobiles. He needs more time. Time to what?
Well, I mean,
is he going to have more Republicans in 6 months?
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. He's only been in for 2 months. He needs a little bit more time.
He's been running for 9 years. He's been running for president, Casey.
I don't know, Rob. I don't know. He's got J.D. Vance now meeting with Republicans on Capitol Hill as well to try and get him to vote in favor of it.
That's what American people are going to get. Yes, that's very good. All right, we go to break now.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
President Trump says new tariffs on some Canadian goods go into effect tomorrow. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to Trump's Truth Social post announcing tariffs on all steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. from Canada being increased to 50%, and he's not happy.
We will not back down. We will be relentless. I apologize to the American people that President Trump decided to have an unprovoked attack on our country, on families, on jobs, and it's unacceptable.
Trump says the tariff increase is in response to Ford announcing a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S. All these worries over tariffs is causing stocks to fall. At times, the Dow has been down more than 600 points this morning. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What are you going to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America. Common sense government and peace too strict.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Hey, guys, let's talk about feeling your best. If you don't feel that same energy, strength, you're moody, or it seems you've lost your drive with your partner, it could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and you'll find true experts at Low T Center. Getting tested is fast and easy. They're not all the same. Don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program.
Learn about personalized therapy at a Low T Center near you. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Cold weather brings hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So get in on those hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at seebeyondtheaddiction.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
So we just spent a moment talking about finances and how you might be scared if you're looking at your 401k. Don't do that. Just let it sit. Just let it sit and wait a while. Some people still seem to have a lot of money to buy whatever their heart desires, like this latest bid on the Paul Skeens MLB debut patch card.
What is it? It's over 500,000, right?
Are you kidding me? It's received, 56 bids so far? We've been talking about this debut patch card for a while, and we just like to update you.
Yes.
It's at auction right now, and 56 bids, and right now it sits at $550,000.
So this saga fascinates me because, and I know most of our audience is aware of this, but Paul Skeens he's one of the hottest players in baseball right now. He's a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, played for the Indians last year for a brief period of time, so local people will know him, and he throws a gajillion miles an hour. He is also dating. They're not married or engaged, right? They're dating Livy Dunn, who's the very famous gymnast, and he had this baseball card that came out last year that is everybody in the hobby won, and there's only one of them, and it's got his debut patch from his first game on the card, and it's autographed, and he clearly wanted this card because the Pirates, who are a low level's not the right word, small market team, know that this guy is going to be looking for the first train out of Pittsburgh, to go play for the Dodgers or the Yankees or whoever are going to give him $9 gajillion if his arm holds up. And so they're looking for any way to try to make this guy happy. So they said, okay, you clearly want this card. We'll do everything in our power to, when this card gets found in a package of baseball cards, to try to secure it for you. And so they offered this just insane amount. It's 30 years of season tickets, right behind home plate. They offered autographed memorabilia, merchandise, a chance to, I think, play on the PNC field where the Pirates play their home games. And we were kind of chuckling at the time. We said, unless you live in Pittsburgh, what's
that,
the real value of any of this? Right.
You're going to just sell those, piece them out.
So Skeens wants the card. He'll buy it if he really wants the card that bad. So then when nobody kind of bid on that as like a great offer, Livy Dunn, who is well assembled.
Sure.
Knew the men folk would probably be interested in her. And so she said, well, I'll let somebody come watch a ball game up in the suite with me. And so, but what is the real value in that? You think she's a millionaire. She's dating Paul Skeens. She's going to be interested in you. Like, what you like? What would you like to share a hot dog? Like, how is that even going to go in terms of any sort of long? So this 11-year-old kid pulls this card. Well, he's not even old enough to know what he has offered to him in terms of Livy Dunn. So that's of no value to him. And so he puts it up with, is it Fanatics?
Yep.
Fanatics. And we were saying this card could get over $1 million. And it's been of interest to our show because I want to keep track of how much this thing ends up going for, and I want this kid to make $1 million.
So it's at $550,000 now. If it ended today, it would be the 4th highest selling modern baseball card of all time on public record.
Now modern, that's the key.
Modern,
yes,
right?
Modern,
but it still has 10 days left.
Oh yeah, it's going to get over $1 million.
So
pitchers are a huge risk though, because what if he throws his arm out? What if that Garrett Cole dude for the Yankees and just announced he's having Tommy John surgery. That's insane. Now, he's probably going to win this card himself because he wants the card. He's going to be richer than anybody bidding against him.
So you think Paul Skeens has someone bidding on his behalf?
Well, he's probably doing it on his own behalf. Is there some rule he can't bid on
his own card?
Sports memorabilia?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I've never been rich enough to have anything I wanted, but if you were rich enough and you wanted this, why wouldn't you just get it?
I know this is backtracking really far, like a week old, but I was out. So I'm curious, did you guys talk about when Trump came out and said he was going to pardon Pete Rose or whatever?
No, we ran out of time. That was when Jerry was in that day. Yeah.
I thought for sure you would mention that.
Well, this is the thing with Pete Rose. Okay, just take the baseball side out of it, and the fact that he not only did he do the one cardinal sin, which is bet on baseball. Like, you can be a racist, you can be a homophobe, you can be anything in baseball, you just can't bet on baseball. Here's the one rule, the one thing you can do, and he had so little self-control that he couldn't do that. So just take that out of the equation. People act like that's what Pete Rose was going to be pardoned for. Pete Rose was a dirtbag. He went to federal prison.
Right.
Like, Pete Rose is a scumbag. I believe it was tax evasion that he went to federal prison for.
And even if Trump were to posthumously pardon him, like, that's no guarantee that the baseball is going to put him in the Hall of Fame.
I love that the Pete Rose people always fascinate me, because Pete Rose not only did the thing, the one thing, right? The one thing you cannot do. You can do all these other things. You can be an alcoholic. You can use drugs. You can anything. The one thing you cannot do is you can't use drugs. If you get caught, you get suspended. But the one way to get kicked out of baseball for life is to bet on the game. He had so little self-control he couldn't do it. He thought so little of you as a patron. He thought so little of the game that he could not do the thing. Then, when he got caught with overwhelming evidence, it wasn't like it was in doubt. It wasn't like any reasonable person read the doubt report and was like, gee, I don't know if he did it or not. He denied and denied and denied, and he belittled and he shamed and he tried to humiliate people that held him to account. And then he only told the truth when he made a bunch of money writing a book about it.
Right.
This is who we're dealing with. Oh, yeah, and by the way, went to federal prison in the process for not paying his taxes.
I just thought it was really interesting.
That's who he is. But the Pete
Trump
Rose
weighed
people
in
are
on
like,
that.
oh, what a great guy. Oh, Charlie Hustle. Oh, what a great dude. Pete Rose is a scumbag.
Okay, so something else that we've been talking about.
What are you laughing at, Kevin? You know it's true.
Yeah, I'm not denying it.
He's just over there laughing. So another thing we've been talking about.
You did that deliberately, didn't you?
What?
You knew.
Brought up the Pete Rose
You
thing?
knew when you brought that up what was going to happen.
Well, because
and I took the bait, hook, line, and sinker.
Because that tweet from Donald Trump came out when I was out of town, and I was like, oh, for sure they're going to talk about this. And then I meant to ask you, So we were talking about baseball.
You knew it, and I
that'd be a
can't
good
believe
time.
I fell for it. I should have just said, no, Casey, we didn't talk about it, because you know how I get when I bring up Pete Rose. Go on to the next thing.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing, the price of eggs, right? The Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, came out and she said that the average cost of a dozen eggs has now gone down $1.85 since we, meaning the Trump administration, announced our plan about a week and a half ago, and they're saying that the price of eggs is now down 11%, cheaper than when Trump took office. However, I was grocery shopping yesterday, and there were still not eggs in the egg cooler at the grocery store.
Why do you keep going to that place?
Right? I need to find a new grocery store.
Walmart seems to have eggs.
Is that what you're telling me?
Well, the Brownsburg Walmart does. I know that's a long way out of your way. Is that why you go to the Avon Meyer? See, think about it. There's going to be some person that's going to hang out at the Avon Meyer now in hopes of seeing
I doubt
Casey Daniels.
I seriously doubt that.
You could get maybe a photo with Casey.
Yeah. They'll be hanging out by the egg section. Do they have eggs, Casey? No, not yet. They were still, I don't know. They're saying...
How long will it be till we have eggs? Till everyone has the eggs again?
Till they're completely stocked?
Yeah, I mean, is this like a 3-month problem? Or is this like a 6-month problem?
Well, what did Farmer Ryan say?
Well, he said they could clean all the chickens out in 6 months.
Okay, well, that's when you'll have a full supply of eggs.
How often do you even buy eggs? You're always looking for eggs. What do you do with all these eggs?
Well, I made banana bread last night.
You did. It looked wonderful, by the way.
It required 2 eggs. So.
Okay, well, what about the other 10?
I eat eggs. What can I say?
I guess.
They're good for you.
You're always looking for them.
High in protein. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Vote now on our social media at Hammer and Nigel. Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. What song do you want to move on? We'll have a new matchup coming up this afternoon.
When is the right time to file for Social Security? Well, that's a difficult decision today. You have to consider that Social Security is running out of money. You also need to consider the tax hit on your benefits and your IRA and 401k withdrawals. And finally, you should consider your spousal benefits. If you don't consider all these things, you could leave a lot of money on the table.
Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's going to show you how you could get the most income from Social Security with a free customized Social Security analysis. So if you've saved more than $200,000, but you've not yet filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, my retirement guy. He should be your retirement guy. 317-648-5120.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
iZurvey is proven to slow GA progression.
iZurvey gets GA GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Be there for one of the biggest games of the season.
Turner
pounds it down. See Miles Turner and the Pacers in action against two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks.
In the lane to the corner, Neesmith beat the shot clock, and the crowd tells you the result.
It's an Eastern Conference showdown with potential playoff implications when the Pacers host the Bucks Tuesday at 7. Don't miss out. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers-Bucks, Tuesday at 7.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Ready for better sleep? Now is your chance during the March mattress sale. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, King Coil, Bed Gear, and Nectar mattresses, you can save up to $800 with up to 4 years interest-free financing. And don't forget, Thompson Furniture delivers for free. Hurry! Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Kendall and Casey.
I'm a young, up-and-coming professional. We are people who want to work. We want to engage. We don't want to be freeloaders. And yet, it makes it very hard for young people to actually do that.
Kendall and Casey, 9 till noon on 93 WIBC.
The flag of piracy flew from my mast. My sails were set wing to wing. I had a jukebox.
Casey, we have to thank a listener.
Yeah, you got a little gift in the mail, didn't you?
Well, this is very fabulous. Now, in full disclosure, I forget what this person's first name is. They had told me either via email or on one of the social medias. I can't remember which they were going to send this. The last name is Caldwell.
Yeah.
So I don't know I'm terribly sorry that I'm blanking the first name. But this is a fabulous gift. It is a package of Arby's coupons.
I know. Look at that. You are set. Good for you.
So now
you can eat.
Well, so I've explained this before. I've sort of built so in high school, I worked at the Brownsburg Arby's.
Yeah.
And I'll toss it over there to you.
Yeah, I want to look at them.
And so I have always had a great affinity for the Brownsburg Arby's. A lot of great memories there. However, Arby's is very expensive.
Well, they've got the meats.
That's right. They do have the meats. And as such, I really, it's in my price range when the monthly coupons show up. There's a little, what are those packet mailer type of things they send out, and there's a variety of different fast food coupons in there. And Arby's is one of them, and they've gotten really to know me very well. I know the manager pretty well by name, and to the point they know exactly what sauces I want in my thing. I mean, they're very good. They do it very quick at the Brownsburg Arby's. Always have a pleasurable experience. They always do a very nice job. However, one of the issues I've run into is, so I have my coupons that I get. My dad gets the same coupons. He gives me his. So basically, I've got about 2 weeks worth of coupons of things that I really like that I can eat.
And then you're left with non-favorites.
That's correct. So then I've got to make a decision. Do I use those? Do I go to, usually there's some sort of Subway coupon in there. They get usually a Dairy Queen. But I do enjoy the Brownsburg Arby's so much. And this person sent me their coupons.
Yeah.
And it is all the good coupons, so I'll have at least 4 or 5 days of really high-end Arby's coupons that I'll be able to use at the Brownsburg Arby's.
You're so lucky. That was very nice of them. Did you know that these coupons originated in Connecticut then went down to Morgantown and now to you in Brownsburg?
One of the things I love about the Arby's, too, is they're not a stickler on the date of the coupon.
The expiration date?
I don't even know if there is an expiration date on them. They've never asked me.
Well, they say that these are valid through the end of the month,
Okay.
3/31/25.
Oh, perfect. So we're good anyway. Because I've told you the one issue with the Subway that I've had while the subway near me, a lot of subways won't even take the coupons. The one near me does take the coupon, but they're very stickler. They're very big sticklers on the date on the coupon. And so I got to be real cognizant. But with the Brownsburg Arby's, it's perfect. So the person who sent this to me know that I am greatly appreciative of this. In fact, I'm going to probably go use this when I'm done here today. And it's just nice to have my high-end coupons back in my possession for a third time
You
on
like
this coupon
the
cycle.
classic roast beef meal, don't you?
No, I'll tell you. Throw that back over to me. I'll tell you the ones that I do the most of. They've got the 2 chicken choices for $7. I love the chicken bacon and Swiss.
Okay.
They've got the chicken tender snack for $3.99, which is good. The meal and snack, which is the beef and cheddar, the fry, and the mozzarella sticks. I do love the French dip and Swiss. These are all the ones that I will. I've never had the burger. I've never had the burger at Arby's.
Oh, well, you got a coupon. You should try it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's any good.
Give it a shot,
yeah,
right?
I don't know.
I just saw an Arby's commercial last night. I actually thought it was pretty funny because they were showing a fish sandwich, and they showed a little fish, and then they put the big Arby's fish sandwich, and they said their fish is what your fish sandwich is eating.
Now, I assume they do this. They're promoting it right now because of the Catholics and the Lent. Yes.
Sure.
And they sell a lot of that.
Well, now you've got a big variety. You can get any Arby's, you want. Eat to your heart's content, Rob
That's right.
Kendall. And I'm actually getting hungry, and you're making me want Arby's.
Do you want it? Do you want any of these? Do any of these stand out to you?
I would just do the classic roast beef sandwich.
I'll tear that off for you. Oh, here's the gyro coupon. Gyro.
Euro. I'm going to guess that's probably the last one you use.
Yeah, Kevin loves that, though, so we'll give this. So you want the regular roast beef meal?
Yeah, the meal, the $5.99.
I'm just going to tear that off for you.
Fries and a Coke with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, one thing about Arby's that I've come to appreciate for years, here, I'll toss this over to you.
Oh, thank you.
McDonald's sort of had a monopoly on the best tasting cola, and everybody, I don't know, is it syrup or pressure,
the
whatever.
Coke.
Arby's,
the temperature.
Arby's is very nice. I've learned to really enjoy the Arby's sodas as well. So anyway.
It's a Dr. Pepper location for me.
Absolutely. It does have Dr. Pepper. It does have the Coke. So anyway, and one of the things we've talked about is that you can't beat inflation, but you can offset a lot of inflation if you're willing to use your coupons as they come in the mail. You can get a reasonably priced lunch still if you're willing to use those coupons and stay disciplined to your coupons.
I'm really curious as to what this person was thinking. I mean, obviously they know your affinity for Arby's and they wanted to help you out, apparently a big fan, or they wanted to stop you from complaining.
Yeah.
But they're choosing not to use the coupon themselves.
Well,
like how selfless that they got this in the mail and they were like, I know somebody who's going to appreciate this more than me.
Well, was it Nathan Hale that said my only regret is I have but one life to give for my country? And this person's probably only regret is they have but one set of coupons to send to Rob Kendall.
I'm sure that's exactly what they're thinking.
Our audience is just the best. I cannot thank this person enough.
Yeah, they really are. I could use a coupon to Ulta. Can't eat that.
And the first name, I'm totally blanking the person's first name. It was not on the letter. I know they sent me the email. I think it was an email, said, I'm going to send this to you. But just know, thank you. And it is going to go to good use, effective this afternoon and for the next several afternoons.
From both of us. I love how I get in this morning and you're like, you got some mail. I open the letter and there's coupons in there for you.
Well, and for the long-time listeners, you'll know this, but we get new listeners all the time. I do not open the mail. If you're going to take me out, all you're going to do is take Casey out because I do not open the mail, and thus you're going to have to do better than that if your goal is to bring a swift, some might believe, justful end to my existence. Although I don't think law enforcement would see it that way. You're going to have to do better than the mail. I do not open the mail.
That's true. All right. Well, is this making you hungry? You ready to go get some lunch?
It's time to go.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
Hey, Wings Etc. fans, guess what? March 10th through 13th is Wings Schooner Madness. We're rolling back prices on award-winning wings and big ice cold schooners to just 69 cents for wings and $5 for domestic schooners. Dine in only. Mark your calendars for March 10th through 13th and get great deals on wings and domestic schooners when you dine in for Wings Schooner Madness. March 10th through 13th, only at your local Wings Etc. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub with 15 Central Indiana locations and online at wingsetc.com.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Nobody likes a cold shower. LD Smith has hot deals on water heaters. Save up to $300 on a new water heater installed.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Call today or visit bwindow.com. This month only, receive $400 off per window, $850 off per patio or entry door with 2.99% financing.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada.
Let's work together. Let's get to the table if he has issues.
Farmers are going to have a more difficult time exporting their products. And
it was the dumbest thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot of dumb things.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
President Trump slapping additional tariffs on Canada.
You've got a clear radar this afternoon, a sunny sky, 61 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. That is in response to higher electricity costs from Ontario. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
Tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada will be doubled from 25% to 50% tomorrow, President Trump says, in response to Ontario's government putting a 25% charge on electricity sold to the U.S. It's the latest in an escalating trade war between the U.S. and Canada. President Trump accuses Canada's government of not doing enough to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. and says unfair trade practices are harming American farmers and manufacturers. The president is also threatening to substantially increase tariffs on cars from Canada next month. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is urging President Trump to reconsider.
Let's work together. Let's get to the table if he has issues, and let's sort this out. You see the market tumbling. Consumer confidence is down. And if he continues on with this, assembly plants in Michigan will shut down.
And Ford says Trump's actions are hurting the American people.
The stock market took a hit Monday. It's taking another hit today because of tariff worries. As for how this could all affect Hoosiers, here's Jake McDaniel.
Former Indy Mayor Greg Ballard tells Wish TV how Indiana and the world will be impacted by the developments.
I think it's going to make our markets tougher to penetrate. Our farmers are going to have a more difficult time exporting their products, and they're already saying that right now.
Ballard says placing tariffs on products like that makes it hard for the U.S. to ship them to other countries. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Also happening about an hour ago, it was reported by ESPN that the Indianapolis Colts are signing former New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones to a one-year deal. Jones had a chance to return to the Minnesota Vikings, but now becomes the challenger to the 2023 first-round pick Anthony Richardson for the Colts starting gig. Jones started 69 games over 6 seasons.
A statewide tornado drill went off at 10:15 this morning, which means there were alerts and sirens. Joe Neild with the National Weather Service says if you're in a tornado, remember this advice.
Get in, get down, and cover up. Get inside a sturdy building as close to the center as possible, away from windows, and at the lowest level you can get.
Neild says you'll also want to watch out for severe weather that's possible this weekend.
An escape, job openings, and a lot of money awarded. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the United States and Ukraine talk peace in Saudi Arabia. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
And WIBC News Time coming up on 12:03. The number of job openings rose slightly in January. The Labor Department says 7.87 million jobs were available at the end of the month. The number of job openings increased in real estate, rental, and leasing positions.
It may be spending a whole bunch of money on something that ends up rather flat. Chris Davis reports on the investigation into sexual harassment in the Indy Mayor's office.
Indianapolis City County Council Minority Leader Michael Paul Hart tells WIBC's Hammer and Nigel that there are essentially 2 committees investigating. One was commissioned by the City County Council, and they've hired an outside law firm. Then another was commissioned by the mayor's office, and they've hired a local law firm.
Anytime the city council office's law firm asks for documents from the mayor's office, the mayor's team then gets to review all the documents and decide what they send and what they don't send.
Hart says that's why to him it seems like it will come out fairly flat. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Marion James was already serving a sentence for burglary in Shelby County, but then he stole a truck while serving time at the Edinburgh Correctional Facility in October of 2023. Johnson County Prosecutor Lance Hamner said today that James was given an additional prison sentence last week of 12 years.
Yeah, he told the judge that it was the dumbest thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot of dumb things. And, you can't dispute that.
James has an extensive criminal record dating back to 1986. He has 14 prior felony convictions and 15 prior misdemeanor convictions.
More students than ever are using AI tools for their schoolwork, Terry Stacy reports.
Jennifer Finetti with Scholarship Owl says they recently surveyed 8,500 students that use their platform, revealing that 65% have used AI tools to help them write essays for scholarships and college applications. But beware, she says that there are risks students need to be aware of.
Colleges and scholarship providers do already know and expect that some of the essays accompanying applications will have been developed with the assistance of an AI tool. So because of that, reviewers tend to be more sensitive when reviewing application essays. And again, they may also be using software that detects AI usage. And so students really do need to understand this.
Jennifer says if using AI tools, editing those essays before submitting is key. Terry Stacy, WIBC Mobile News.
A Chicago jury is awarding a record high settlement to 2 men who were wrongly convicted of murder. John Fulton and Anthony Mitchell were given $60 million each. The men were arrested as teenagers for the 2003 murder of Christopher Collazo, and they were both sentenced to 31 years in prison. The city does plan to appeal the jury's verdict. The law firm representing Mitchell and Fulton says this is the biggest wrongful conviction jury verdict in U.S. history.
Storms are possible this week, but it's sunny right now and 61 in downtown Indy. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 12:06, which means it's time for Tony Katz Today.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Saying he is enacting a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum from Canada, which will go into effect tomorrow in response to your actions. What's your reaction?
Well, Anna, first of all, thank you for having me on. I start every interview with saying we love Americans. I love Americans, spent 20 years of my life there. And I know Canadians love Americans and vice versa. In saying that, we will not back down. We will be relentless. I apologize to the American people that President Trump decided to have an unprovoked attack on our country, on families, on jobs, and it's unacceptable. Let's work.
I must tell you that it might work in Canadian politics, but it's really having no effect on Trump whatsoever. This is because the premier of Ottawa has said we're going to put a tariff on electricity. As a matter of fact, we're going to cut off electricity that goes to the United States. And Trump's point is, what the hell are we doing getting electricity from Canada? What's wrong with us? Are we insane? And Canada is now going to threaten electricity? Now, that's a weird position for Trump to have to be in, to say, how dare the Canadians, when the Canadians are saying, how dare you? Trump's argument is fentanyl. And the Canadians, admittedly, have not offered a good response to it. Yes, I oppose blanket tariffs. I oppose this silliness. But I said to you yesterday that Trump clearly is trying to put forth a political theory, an economic theory here. I think it's a little disjointed. I had to do the work in putting it together. But I believe that the argument before us is that if the plan is to compete with China long term, one has to bring the businesses to the United States long term. The only way to bring the businesses to the United States long term is to give a reason for people to be here. It has to be a better economic climate, a better business climate. What could be a better way than the idea, the concept of these tariffs? The Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, was on Fox Business.
And to you, I want to get your take on this tariff conversation because it certainly has stoked fear among some business people and markets, investors. Yesterday, big sell-off in stocks. How do you expect tariffs to impact American farmers?
Well, first of all, Maria, I think it is no question that the president from minute one has believed so strongly, and the American people agreed with him, that tariffs are a very important part of his toolkit for him to be able to truly make America great again, including American farmers great again. He is going to be making some big, bold, fearless moves, and that's what we see him doing right now. But I would like to also say, Maria, I know you know this well as also, that no one has the farmers back more than President Trump. And while he has been very clear that for the short term, it may be slightly bumpy, that for the long term, that this group of people, that are farmers and our ranchers, but also all of Americans, we are reaching and moving into a new golden age in American prosperity, and that those in our country that work hard and dream big and believe in the vision that this is a new era of prosperity for everyone. So
what did we say? Trump just had to explain what it is he's doing and what is it that it's going to mean. And it's going to mean some short-term pain. Means prices will be higher for the short term. And here's what we get in the long term. We said it here. We said it before anybody. Well, everybody was being tribal. We were being honest about what we were seeing. And what are we now seeing? We're seeing them explain it. Yes, it's going to be a bumpy road. yes, in order to bring business here, we're utilizing tariffs as a tool to convince companies to come here because when they build here, they won't have to have the tariffs. They'll be able to sell more product. And once they're here, they're not really going to move to other places. That's better for the United States long term. We caught this in this conversation about China, that China thinks about 100 years and we think about a quarter. Oh, what were the quarterly results? We got to have good quarterly results. Let's get the next good quarterly results. What about a long-term vision? First time I saw Trump actually play that out. But he did it in this very disjointed way. Now we're starting to see more of that messaging happen. Good. Because it will take time. It absolutely will take time. And certainly you're going to have to go up against people who are desperate in their lives. This from Jonathan Lemire over there at MSNBC. This is flat out obscene to make the statement that coming in to this White House, Trump had a perfect economy.
Yeah, and this is all, let's be clear, his doing.
Yeah.
He inherited a strong economy. It's his decisions that have led us to this moment. White House officials still publicly confident, publicly boasting, but there is, for the first time, some private anxiety about where this is going. We'll have more on that.
Yeah, you have more on that. Let's talk more about the nonsense of somehow this economy was in a good place. It wasn't in a good place. That's not true. The dishonesty is standard operating procedure. Why don't people trust you, Jonathan Lemire? That's why. Why should they? Why should they trust Morning Joe? Why should they trust MSNBC? To the extent that anybody's even watching that nonsense, it wasn't good. I make the argument, we make the argument that the president should be more clear about what is ahead, about what the tariffs do, and about short-term pain for a long-term goal. I believe in the clarity. Force them to have your discussion. Don't allow them to have theirs. And in the same place, let us not forget what it is they told us, which is what? Inflation was transitory. These lying, despicable frauds. Inflation is transitory? Oh, hell no. Inflation, 4 years later, here to stay. And that hasn't dissipated. We're seeing egg prices go down according to some charts. Now, as a matter of anecdotal, the number I had heard was $8. We're seeing egg prices at $8 a dozen. My wife just did some shopping. Yes, I do shopping too. Settle down. I'm a man of today. Send the wife out to do the shopping. Well, she didn't have to darn the socks anymore. I just bought new ones, so she had some free time. God, they're going to be emails. If you want to send an email about what I just said and you find it objectionable, send that to benshapiro@yahoo.com. I don't know if that's Ben's email or not, but someone's about to get an email. The eggs were $6.15. $6.15 a dozen. So that does comport with what we're hearing, some numbers that how egg prices are down. We're also seeing gas prices down. It could be for a series of reasons. Maybe eggs have gotten to a cost where people are like, I can't afford eggs. I'm not buying eggs. And therefore, the demand is down, so the price comes down. That could be possible. We'll see how this kind of plays out. We want things to get better. The inflation is not better. The debt load is not better. But this idea that Trump inherited a great economy is nonsense. The idea that Trump has put the tariffs on, and tariffs are taxes and means things will cost more, that is true. This back and forth between President Trump and, it's the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, and this 25% surcharge on electricity exports, and Trump calling Canada a tariff abuser, and now they're doing reciprocal. This isn't fun. And for Mark Carney, the new prime minister, this can't be something that you enjoy. But he came into office yesterday and said very clearly, we're going to keep the tariffs on, and who does America think they are? And all. Let the fight continue. But don't let anybody tell you that everything was perfect and then in less than 50 days, it's all over. I will note that when the market is down 1,000 points, when the market is down 700 points, and it's down day after day for a few days, it absolutely affects your 401k. Does anybody question this? Of course it affects your 401k. And things were looking up. The Dow futures were up this morning. Okay, everybody's calmed down. Now you've got this, and you're seeing the Dow down. I think at one point it was down 500 today. Yeah, it's going to have a real effect on markets. That's now. We saw during the Biden administration the market go down 1,000 points a day. Happened a couple times. We come back. There is a real panic. And the panic is political. And I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in honestly addressing the situation, and you are too, because it's your financial future. Tariffs or taxes, and right now, it's bumpy. The Trump team is finally discussing that it is bumpy. They should have come out earlier on that one. But the political left is going to tell you everything was great until Trump got here, as if somehow they can make you forget what happened. That gaslighting horse crap cannot be left to stand. And we have to be the ones, whether it's talk radio or you and your social media feed, to say, this is nutty. These people are frauds, because they are. They're frauds. They're liars. And we shouldn't be lied to. And by the way, Canada was getting the better part of a trade deal, and that wasn't necessary. They can do better. Do I think it needs all these tariffs? Nope. Do I think they need to do a better job in protecting the border, especially regarding Chinese nationals coming through the Swanton sector there in Vermont? Yes. Is the tariff conversation without merit? No. Are blanket tariffs ridiculous? Yes. Do reciprocal tariffs make sense? Yes. Should Canada be moving heaven and earth to create a better deal with the United States? Yes. Are they so ridiculously obstinate they can't do what's best for their nation, rather engage the suffering so they can look cool? Absolutely. Do I want Canada to be the 51st state? God, no. Do I want poutine? Absolutely. French fries with stuff is delicious. I mean, that's what poutine is. It's basically... growing up in Jersey, we had fries with gravy. I didn't know that was basically like a poutine light. Give me cheese and then throw in some other stuff. A poutine is like the sundae of French fries, right? A fudge, and there's a sprinkle, or some people call it a Jimmy, and then there's nuts, and then there's whipped cream, right? That's basically poutine. Poutine's delicious. Take their poutine, leave the Canadians. That is my take. Honesty wins the day. And you ain't going to get that from anybody in mainstream media on what this economic situation is. It's going to be bumpy. The objective is something far greater. And I'm at least willing to see how it plays out in the short term. Take a breath, everybody. Take a breath. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.
Indianapolis roads, a total disaster. Some of the worst potholes in America. Am I right?
A car on Keystone Avenue just fell into one the size of a swimming pool.
Disgraceful. These roads should be great again. But right now, they look like the surface of the moon.
Suspension repair shops are making a fortune.
Rigged system. But Matt Baer, he's the guy to trust. Tremendous at avoiding these disasters. Just tremendous.
Matt Baer, making your commute great again. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
When is the right time to file for Social Security? Well, that's a difficult decision today. You have to consider that Social Security is running out of money. You also need to consider the tax hit on your benefits and your IRA and 401k withdrawals. And finally, you should consider your spousal benefits. If you don't consider all these things, you could leave a lot of money on the table.
Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's going to show you how you could get the most income from Social Security with a free, customized Social Security analysis. So if you've saved more than $200,000, but you've not yet filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, my retirement guy. He should be your retirement guy. 317-648-5120.
Greetings from our agency, your Indiana Health Insurance Pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for making us national sales leaders once again for 2024. Crazy sign-up periods are at last over. If you were told the ACA and you know it's still Obamacare was your only option, that's just not true. If you were told since you've signed up already, you must keep your ACA program for a year, that's not true either. If you do not have serious health problems, and God forbid make a living wage, the ACA is your worst option, and it can be canceled at any time. We feature coverages guaranteed age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. Self-employed, early retiree, or ACA victim, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. As always, God bless America, peace through strength, and common sense government.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster, too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Vote now on our social media at Hammer and Nigel. Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. What song do you want to move on? We'll have a new matchup coming up this afternoon.
Here's the bottom line. If congressional Democrats refuse to support this clean CR, they will be responsible for every troop who misses a paycheck, for every flight delay from reduced staffing at TSA, for every negative consequence that comes from shutting down the government. I understand they have an important retreat this week. Boy, I'd love to be a fly on the wall at that party. Comes at a critical time since they don't have a leader, a message, or a platform. And I'm just going to say this. If our Democrat colleagues want to increase their 21% approval rating with the American public, they ought to start by doing the right thing and keeping the government open. I think that'd be a great first step. So I'll take the questions. Chad.
Speaker, you continually criticize the Democrats. Doesn't that imply that you don't have the votes on your side because you wouldn't need Democratic assistance to keep the government open?
No, we will have votes. We're going to pass the CR. We can do it on our own. But what I'm saying is Democrats ought to do the responsible thing.
Democrats will do the political thing. And if you're going to talk about the responsible thing and then have Thomas Massie not voting for the continuing resolution, Speaker Johnson, I think you've got yourself a messaging issue. And you walked yourself into it. Tony Katz today. Great to be with you. So Massie is not voting for the continuing resolution, the congressman out of Kentucky. Now, I have a love-hate with Massie because his position on Israel frustrates and confounds. I don't like some of the things that I have heard, but I am not coming out to say he's an anti-this or that. I actually want to talk to the man because I think much of what really moves him is purely economic. We spend too much. I don't want to spend in any of these places. Right? That to me is Thomas Massie. He's like throwing everything off the counter. I didn't order any of this. He's doing that. And so what he has said is, I'm not voting for this continuing resolution. You're out of your mind. This thing's terrible. This is way too much money. So Trump has come out to say, primary him. We're going to challenge him. We're going to primary this guy. Who do you think you are? We absolutely need this. You don't want to do this. Primary challenge. Let's go. To which Massie's like, I'm going to use this as a fundraising opportunity. You want to come after me? You're the one spending and you want to come after me? Challenge accepted, Donnie boy. And he's off to the races. This is where I think it matters. I think Massie has larger support than President Trump realizes. That is not to say that President Trump has less support. It's that Massie has large support. In the idea of lowering spending, Massie has large support because the people who voted for you, sir, want to see less spending. So why is Massie a bad guy for wanting the less spending? And you're already seeing people come out in favor. And you're also seeing people say, hey, listen, I voted for Trump. I want Trump to succeed. But honestly, I don't give a good holy damn about his personality. I want what I want. I fall into that category. I don't care about Trump's personality at all. Don't care about his ego. Don't care about accolades. It means nothing to me. I want what I want. And I will put up with a whole bunch of stuff if I get what I want. Right? If that's what it takes to be able to lower taxes and have a secure border, fine by me. You do you, man. You want to be cheered everywhere you go. You want to, no issue. Right? It's far more honest than anything Joe Biden ever presented. Never mind the people who are actually running the country for Joe Biden for at least 2 years, because he wasn't. But I want what I want. And if I'm not going to get what I want, I'm not giving any of the other thing. I don't owe anything to anybody. Let's remember, Trump works for me. He works for you. And so do your senators and so do your members of Congress. We don't work for them. And their egos are meaningless. Got to get what we got to get. Massie is talking about a reduction in spending overall. I don't know if I want to lecture a guy about that. I want to say we disagree about this thing. Let's work on this other thing. Here's where we can get these spending cuts. Hey, Tom, we can do this over here. We can do this over there. There's a whole argument that the cuts that they want can't go into this kind of legislation. It has to be a different kind of legislation. Representative Tim Burchett was discussing that on CNN. Maybe. But there are people who agree with Massie and agree with my take that we just want the less spending. We don't want to hear about the rest. Don't tell me why I have to do anything because your name is Trump. No. We wanted this. We really want this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to support people who really bring the less spending. So Massie has more support than I think Trump realizes. That does not mean Trump has any less support. So if he wants to go after this fight, he'll go after this fight. Can he succeed in a primary challenge? I don't know. I really don't. I'm not studied up enough on that district of Kentucky. But Trump's going to throw everything at it to try, which I think is a waste of time. This is Tony Katz today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
It's still possible. I'm Jake McDaniel for Moss Roofing, and here's what's trending at 12:30. It's Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and with severe weather headed our way, now's your time to get your plan in place. Ryan Hedrick reports.
What you're hearing is a tornado siren. It was part of a statewide drill Tuesday. Forecaster Joe Neal at the National Weather Service says tornadic activity is right around the corner. He says you need to remember a few things when you're taking shelter from a tornado.
Get in, get down, and cover up.
He added,
the goal is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
And severe weather is in the forecast Friday and Saturday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And you're paying an average of $2.86 a gallon, says AAA. The cheapest gas is in Lagodi at $2.31, says Gas Buddy. I'm Jake McDaniel on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
The Indianapolis Ballet, the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, and Clues Memorial Hall unite to present the timeless classic ballet, Swan Lake, March 28th and 29th. This collaboration features gorgeous costumes and sets, with full orchestra bringing to life Tchaikovsky's beautiful score, and conducted by the ISO's Jack Everly. Don't miss Indianapolis Ballet's Swan Lake at Clues Hall, March 28th and 29th. Tickets on sale at indieballet.org.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about,
yeah,
with any 4-tire purchase,
yeah,
we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself. Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I had changed the locks. Didn't even know where she was living. And then one night she calls to say she's getting treatment. Can I drive? I almost hung up. But then I thought, that's my kid. I chose to put away the hurt and the fear and just see my girl.
Addiction is a disease. Standing by a loved one as they fight it will test your faith, patience, and sanity. But it's possible when you see the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
MAGA mad at Amy Coney Barrett. Don't honk those people off.
You mean like you did today?
What, Casey?
Join us Wednesday, 9 until noon on 93 WIBC.
I was so scared that news outlets would take my admission into a mental health facility as a way to paint me and all trans people as psychos who belong in the loony bin.
It resulted in a lot of suicidal ideation and dissociation. I'm still battling with some of that guilt and that shame and that dysphoria that was projected onto me during that time. And that was a situation that I wouldn't have wished on my worst enemy now that I've lived through it.
Mulvaney says she never wanted to be an activist, but has found herself navigating a society that's not always supportive of trans rights.
On his first,
Dylan Mulvaney is a man. Why is that so hard for so many people? And went on The View, and it was nutty. And now in this interview with CBS, where he's being treated like somehow he's a hero,
first day in office, President Trump signed the order which recognized two sexes, male and female. When you heard that pronouncement, what did you think?
It didn't change any way that I think about myself, because I'm a woman no matter what my passport says.
No, you're not. No matter what your passport says, you're a man. You will die a man, and you have to learn to come to grips with that. You could say what you will, can't stop you from going down this road, but putting on a blouse does not make you a woman. Just doesn't. And it never will. And it is a lie to say otherwise. And it's a lie for other people to buy into it. Calling Dylan Mulvaney she is as despicable an act as one can think of. And when women do that, why they shame themselves and harm themselves and damage themselves and ridicule themselves and belittle themselves in this way, beyond comprehension. Did I say hello? Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. We've got the White House press briefing today, so I definitely want to get to that later. But, of course, the big story is of the green card. You have this guy, and there's a good write-up over at legalinsurrection.com. And there's a good write-up over at National Review, because Andy McCarthy is on it and engaging the data and his thought on what might happen. Here's the story. There is a Columbia graduate, Columbia University, home of bigotry. Columbia, NYU, USC, bigotry. And his name is Mahmoud Khalil. Claims to be Palestinian. I don't know what he means. He is a lawful permanent resident, green card holder, lawful permanent resident. But he was leading and organizing the so-called protests at Columbia that were harassing Jewish students, attacking Jewish students, preventing Jewish students from being able to cross campus. At this moment, let us know two things. Being a lawful permanent resident is a far different thing than being here on a student visa. Being here on a student visa, whoop, gone. It's not even a debate. Green card lawful permanent resident could be a debate. Could be a debate. But even with that, preventing someone from walking across a campus or a field because of that doesn't fly in the United States. That's a jailable offense. You're not a protester. You're an abusive scumbag. Just so we understand each other. Just so we get it. He was arrested. And what Trump has said, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said, is that he is going to be deported. Now, can you deport somebody for this act when they're a lawful permanent resident? Well, this gets really interesting. What Andrew McCarthy references is not only federal immigration law in toto, he argues Section 1182 of federal immigration law. Section 1182 of federal immigration law states that the statute, or I should say that the statute targets aliens who have either, quote, engaged in terrorist activity or who are members of terrorist organizations or have received paramilitary training from terrorist organizations. And it also could include if you have endorsed or espoused terrorist activities. Now, one of the arguments being made is whether or not we have seen this guy engage in terrorist activities. Well, you're stopping people from crossing a campus. Is he connected to terrorist organizations? I wouldn't be able to know that. That would take an investigation. But if we're talking about support, well, everybody who claims to be pro-Palestinian is supportive of Hamas. Every single one of them. This is a conversation that really exists in the what the definition of the word is. Over there at MSNBC, they had this conversation with an NYU professor.
Does Marco Rubio have the power to revoke a person's green card or legal status?
So under the immigration laws, there are extreme circumstances where someone's status can be reconsidered if they are aligned with, for example, a terrorist organization or an organization that's been designated a terrorist organization. It is not the case here that Mr. Khalil...
We do not know that. What do you mean by aligned, Ms. Murray? She's an NYU law professor. What do we mean by aligned? It would seem to me if you're flying a Palestinian flag, you could very well be aligned. That's clearly what it says to me. Isn't that determination a determination of the Secretary of State or the president who decides all immigration policy? So can this person be kicked out of the country? It's a great question. I don't have the answer. I think that's a question for the courts. And I will share with you coming up my conversation with William Jacobson, legalinsurrection.com, Cornell law professor. But maybe the question is actually a cart before the